Good morning, everyone. I'm assuming it's the morning where you are. So, for today, I actually wrote something together on the stream starting screen. We're gonna last stream. I was doing the social stats integration, right? And we had problems with Twitter. We only actually had problems with Twitter. We didn't tackle Twitch and what was the other one? YouTube. The reason for that was I couldn't get Twitch credentials because it would have locked me out everywhere. And for YouTube, we wanted to do the other things first because they seemed more interesting. Turned out that Twitter limited pretty much everything for the free API. So if you're using a free API, you can only post tweets. If my research turns out to be correctly, which is a problem because we really do not care about sending tweets. The only thing we cared about is fetching Twitter followers, right? And the other one was YouTube. YouTube was super straightforward. We're gonna go over the implementation that I did. I have it in front of me right now. And Twitter was also pretty easy, with one tiny hiccup because I wrote client underscore ID instead of client dash ID, and this cost me quite some time. So if I did this on stream, someone would have probably pointed out my mistake. So let's go over which changes I made, because what I also did is I removed Substack from this entire equation. Substack did work sometimes. It did only work at times where we were not prompted for a captcha. And the first time we've been prompted for a captcha, and of course our implementation couldn't solve one, I got prompted for another captcha every other time. So it was pretty much dead from that time. And the other reason is in order to, for Substack to work, if you remember, I showed the open source contribution we made. You will need to have your email and password somewhere accessible for the application, which is something I really don't like because I don't want to have my personal password exposed. For Twitter, for Twitch, for all the other services, you have an API key, and you can restrict the API key to basically only be able to grab whatever information it is you want to grab, right? So that's fine, and you can always revoke it, and the user can't really do much harm with these restricted keys, right? So let's go over the changes that I made by watching the Git commit. So what I did is I implemented the schedule for the cron tab, so to actually run every 2 a.m. every morning instead of every 60 seconds, because I think it's fine if we only grab the stats once per day. Then I made changes to the admin. I have the admin panel over here. We're gonna look over this one. This is some formatting changes to do double quotation marks instead of single quotation marks. Here I actually removed the Substack integration. I ditched this one because for aforementioned reasons, I do not want to have my password exposed there. And if it's possible to log in without a CAPTCHA and maybe without two-factor authentication, anyone who would be able to grab this one, although I think no one would be able to just grab post under my name or grab the entire email list, and this is something that I do not want to happen. So next up will be the integration for YouTube. The way Git does is if it detects a difference or something that has been changed and something has been the same, it will illustrate like this. So we removed get Substack subscriber count, but we added get YouTube subscriber count, right? This line has stayed the same because we need the config for both. And here is the integration for YouTube, which is really just one API call, right? It's no big deal. We have our channel ID. Then we have this call to the Google API with our channel ID and our YouTube API key. And we have our response where we grab the subscriber count. Great. For the Twitch follower count, it has been pretty much the same, but it uses two-factor authentication. First, we need to get a two-factor, authentication, right? Authentication. We fetch the token by posting our credentials to the OAuth token endpoint. We received an access token, which is valid for a certain amount of time, but we actually do not store the access token anywhere because it will be expired next time we need it anyway, so we're refetching one every time. Because remember, this code is executed once per day. Then, as per the Twitch docs, we can fetch the follow account by getting from this endpoint with the headers of the authorization, which is obvious. And we always have, for whatever reason, have to append the client ID in the request header. I have no idea why, because we actually put our client ID here for authentication purposes anyway. So we would the client ID would be encoded in the Barrow token, actually depending whether they're using a JSON Web Token or not. But for me, it didn't make much sense, so I omitted it, and I got the error a client ID is missing. Then I read up that you need to add your client ID to the header, right? I added client ID by writing it the same way I wrote it here, right? Client underscore ID, which was wrong. It needs to be client dash ID. And this was a very interesting way I fixed this. I'm going to show this to you because this is something that you will be able to leverage a lot. And of course, we need to specify which broadcaster ID we want to get the follow account from, right? So this is my broadcaster ID. Great. Then next up, I ditched the initial migrations. This is something you can do depending on whether you actually have the implementation running anywhere yet. You can remove all your migrations, drop the database, and then make migrations from the ground up to remove all other configurations, right? Because what I had there was all the Substack stuff, which we don't care about, and I want to have this a clean start, and I wanted to show you how it's possible. See, instead of having 3 migrations, the one that was the initial migration, the one where we made changes, and then the third one where, that would represent the current state, I deleted the old ones, I dropped the database, I made new migrations, and now I only have 1 migration, which is my new initials migration file. The way this works, or how migrations are made, is there is a separate table for the migrations in the database where it is stored which migrations have already been applied. And if you drop your database, Django doesn't know about any migrations, or the database, and the Django application doesn't know about any migrations being applied already, so you can make new ones. Great. Here for the model changes that I made, of course, I added the stuff for Twitch and for YouTube, and I removed everything from Substack. Here in my tasks, I also removed Substack again, and I added Twitch and YouTube. Pretty much the same. Here, this is actually not needed anymore. I initially wanted to have a Twitch callback, so you can authenticate with Twitch too. But then I decided against it, so this can actually be removed again. This is an oversight. This does not need to exist anymore. Because actually this doesn't link anywhere, right? So this Twitch auth callback handler doesn't exist anymore. This should have been in social views, should have been here, but I actually deleted the entire file. And of course, I ditched Python Substack from the requirements because we are not intending on using them anymore. We made an open source contribution, which is fine, but we don't care about it anymore. So what I wanted to tell you about how I found out what I was doing wrong here. Did you know that you can pretty much search the entire GitHub repository base, every repository, every public repository for some kind of occurrence of a code? This is something that has been a godsend for me in university, right? So you can take this string, you go to GitHub itself. There's type /to search. So you type never mind, I have a plugin here. But you paste this in here, and then it says search all of GitHub, right? So you click on this, and then you will see there's no repositories that match. Fine. But there are issues and there's code that matches this. So you click on this, and you will see implementations from different people that actually use the same code fragment. So here I was able to have a look at how other people use this endpoint and maybe see what I did wrong here. So people are making URLs here with just the broadcast ready, which is fine, but this doesn't tell me what they are using in their application itself. Let's have a look at this one because there's more. There's more to it, maybe. Well, it gives you it's called Twitch API. We need to look for this function here. We click over here, and here we see it says client-id, right? So this is what we need to do, or what we should have done. And so I was able to actually get it going. Right? There's a lot more implementations here. For example, you see it instantly. It says client-id and not client_id. Right. So there's a lot of stuff that you can grab from here, right? So if you care about this, or if you're working with some kind of, I for example, one time in university, I was working with PyTorch, which was something I haven't worked before, and it's super nice to actually pretty much get someone, get some implementation from someone else and see an actual example if the documentation of whatever project or package you're using is not sufficient, right? So let's have a look at. You can also filter by Python, of course, and maybe this would have been a bit better for me. I have no idea. This is synchronous actually, but it also would have worked, right? Because we have the client ID here as header. Great. So far, so good. Here we see this is the admin panel from where I've actually deployed it. And we can see yesterday at 2 p.m. is when I initially deployed it. And I actually made one of these snapshots then. And as we can see, we have from yesterday 2 p.m. to today 2 a.m., which has been about 8 hours ago. We have no changes in Twitch followers, still at 88. We have gained 1 YouTube subscriber. For Twitter, I can't determine with Twitter because I told you that the free API does not have access to this. And the paid API, I think, starts at 3K per month. So it's a bit of a different ballpark. And 1 person actually quit our Discord. What we can now do is go to the periodic tasks app, mark get social stats, run selected tasks, and this would actually run this one again, right? So in the background, from the background worker, it actually triggered this one again. And if we go here for social stats again, we will see, great, we gained 3 Discord members again. Since I actually want to, because we will eventually make a graph out of this, right? And ideally, this would be the exact same time spans, right? So every 24 hours there will be one. So I will delete these 2 other ones that I created manually. And I'm fine with only having this one for now. Because tonight at 2 or tomorrow night at 2 a.m. we will have the exact snapshot 24 hours later, right? Great. So this is what I have been doing yesterday, because I promised you I will have this done by next stream, so we can talk over this one. This is of course a public repository. If you care about this, go ahead, look it up. If you want to make contributions, you're more than welcome to, especially if it's on the design side, because you will see that this is not my most enjoyable thing. So next up, what we're going to do is on community request, we're going to use Tabler for the UI. I've actually been looking at charts yesterday if we can use something here to represent our changes. And great, we're gonna use Tabler, and we might actually even add the charts. The thing is whether we actually care about how it looks, right? So we could do something like this for all of the social stats, if this is something that you guys find likable, or only do like tiny pictures here, like tiny cards here, which is also fine. We could do a total here, and we can do the difference from yesterday, so the 24-hour delta. Maybe, I don't know. This is something where I would really love to get some input from you guys, what you care. Because what we want to do is we want to have this website, which does nothing right now, to be like an explanation of what our community is about, and maybe some ways to interact, maybe show that there's actually some activity going on, because there's been a lot of good and productive talk yesterday on the Discord server. I'm really, really happy to see this one, where you guys help out each other. I've been also talking to a few people that messaged me privately that would like to contribute. More than welcome. So I do not have to. I think I'm repeating myself, but I do not have to be the sole frontman of this entire thing. If anyone does anything better than I do, they are more than welcome to show it to the other ones. What I don't like though is it didn't happen. It didn't happen yet, at least. Some backseat guys that talk negatively and are not willing to step up and improve the situation. Right? This is something that's true in every part of life, I think. So if you think you can do something better, then I gladly invite you to show everyone else, and even show me, because if I can learn from you, this is very great. As a matter of fact, if I'm in a room with a few people, and if I'm don't want to say, and I have the least experience, or I'm the least knowledgeable about a different topic, then this is perfect for me. Because this means that I can learn from everybody, and this is the most beneficial situation that you can have, right? The complete opposite would be where you are in a room with a lot of people that have no experience in whatever you are an expert in, and then you, over hours and hours, you talk to them how great you would be, or how great you are, and well, maybe this boosts someone's ego, but at the end of this, there is pretty much nothing that you gain from this one, right? Maybe a few people find you or admire you or something, or if this is something that you care about, maybe this is an approach for you. But I always find it more interesting to be around people that know more than me, because that means that these are people that I can learn from. Something that I have been talking about or writing in Discord server last days was, of course, acquiring clients and how to get people to talk to you. And on last stream, I advocated that you should talk to people that are outside of the tech bubble, right? This is extremely important, because if there is a twin that does the same that I do, I'm not able to sell this person anything, right? We might do a cooperation, for example, if we have a big project, we work on it together, but I will never directly sell to myself. I won't be my own client, because I am not the target group for myself. What you care about are people that have some kind of decision-making capabilities inside whatever structure they're in. Ideally, that's a company of up to 10 people. And you talk to them. You have to be interested. The thing is, if you're genuinely interested in what they have to say and what they are doing, and you're listening to them and asking questions for your better understanding, they will realize that you are not you're not one of them, or those people that just talk about themselves and pretty much just want to stand in the front, right? If you're talking to them, they find it interesting that you're interested in them. They will also share some maybe problems in their company, right? So they are having problems with this. They have problems with their billing. I think billing is the point that I'm coming back every time, because this billing systems is what I sell mostly. But there are any problems, and if there's only one thing that you think you can solve with technology, maybe feel if they're open to working with you. And as a matter of fact, there's two exciting new business things that I can talk about. One of them is I yesterday had a talk with a client, which it really looks like I'm gonna sign them. What I asked them was whether they would be down that I create a part of the application on stream. This would be everything but what's super personal to their business logic. But we would work on requirements on stream. This is something that has been requested on Discord. Real world requirements building. I would share what I talked to the client about, what we had, break that down into concrete requirements, and then start developing for I don't know. I would have to talk to them which things are fine creating on stream. So maybe this is something that we could do together. I also offered them to a 10% discount if they are willing to do this, which is actually pretty much. It's a lot, but I think this is really what something that the community would care about or would like or could grow from. So maybe we can do this. It would be very nice, but I can't make any promises here. The other one was where can you go to meet prospective clients? So the thing is, of course, the easiest way is if you already have a client and they're referring you to someone else. Okay, this is the easiest way. Yes, I will keep you updated on this. I'm really hoping this comes through. But of course, they also have different departments that they have to talk with, and although they are, I think, only 7 people, pretty much everyone in this company is the head of something. So there's one legal guy, and so he is the legal department, and of course, this takes some time. But I think they're a really great company, and the product could be really interesting too. So yeah, where can you meet prospective clients? So I think it was, I have no idea if it was 2 or 3 years ago, but when we were doing the thing with Airbnb, I was on how's it called, on a convention, I think, and let me Google this one to you. It is German, but I will translate everything that's important. Yes, I think this one is it. Yes, and I'm gonna show something else. It's the Austrian Convention Center, I think. Austria Center, Vienna, alright. So, yes, I can't read this, I'm sorry. So where I met some interesting people. I didn't work with, I actually got one client from there, but I also got a few good recommendations. And the thing is, when I was I and my business partner and I, back then in 2000, in 2020 or 2021, I think, somewhere around there, when we also had this partnership to Airbnb and then sold to them, we were with them on the Austrian tourism days, right? So they were excited to announce the partnership with us, because initially this started out as a partnership where we were some device for them, pretty much, that they could pass on to their users, so they could do something against this problem with there are a lot of people living unregistered in Airbnb apartments, and our digital product was making this as smooth as possible to actually register those people. And we met at the Austrian Tourism Days in this convention center, right? This is fine. The entry was completely free, so anyone could join there, even if they are not really into tourism. I personally, I don't rent out my flats, right? I don't even have flats yet. This is something that I want to change though. The thing is, this is something that's outside my bubble, right? I'm in a tech bubble. I do a lot of tech stuff, but I'm not gonna sell to people like me. So I need to find different people, or need to meet people that are different than I am. And this doesn't have to be in tourism, tourism. I have no idea what the English word is. Sector, maybe tourism sector. But this can be anything that's not tech, right? Hospitality has been something that worked really good for me, for example. So I can bring you something that actually worked for me, and this is not some hypothetical thing that might never work. So I was at the tourism days. There were a lot of people talking, of course, and then you sit in the crowd. You sit in the crowd. You're listening to their talks, for example, and there are other people around you, right? And maybe they aren't there alone. I wasn't there alone either, but I was listening to what they are talking, and after each big talk, there was this networking pause, and then I could talk to these people and understand what they're doing. Right? I'm not going there with a mindset that I want to say I'm gonna sell you this or this. I want to sell you this, or I have created this product. Do you care about this? Do you want this too? I'm asking what they're doing. I'm asking what their problems, and I try to understand and I try to think as much as possible, and I try to be genuinely interested because I think people can tell if you're just faking your interest or if you're actually interested, right? So I'm really interested in them because they might be future partners for me. So I'm really interested. Some people I might never see again, some I might work with. But at the time when they open up about their problems, you can say, hey, maybe I created something that worked for this one, or I can do something that will ease this pain. Then you're getting into talks, and this is how you meet people. And what you can also do is, I have no idea where you guys live, of course, but if you have some sort of convention center, and there's a lot of them in Vienna, but the one where the tourism days was this one, the Austria Center Vienna, and I think they do have a list of upcoming conventions. Do they not? Maybe I should have done this before. But I think they do. I have no idea where now. Polystage, maybe, I have no idea. Okay, my point still stands here. So you find a convention center, for example, and see what they have there, and maybe you go to some of them are free to go. You go to one or two of them. You get a feel about how to talk to these people because you won't be great at this the first time. Maybe you are, but chances are you will learn the second time and you will learn the third time. And the thing is, you really need to be kind of comfortable with getting yourself out there, right? As much as I like to sit in a cool basement, we don't have a basement anymore, but it's really nice, right? You have your own comfortable space and fine, but you can't wait for life to hand you opportunities. So this is something that really applies to the entire life, and I don't think I'm like a career or life coach or anything like this, lifestyle coach, life career coach, because a life coach is something different. Um, but when I was in university, I've always been accused from one person specifically that I am such a lucky person because pretty much everything worked out for me. But what they didn't see, or not until I explicitly told them, is that I try to give life as many chances as possible to reward me, if that makes any sense. So if you have only one bullet in your chamber, you try once, you miss, and then you give up. Yeah, chances are you won't succeed. But if you try again, and the thing is, you might fail spectacularly, or it might just not be happening much. It's always important to reflect on whatever happened. So if I've been talking to a person, I thought it was going really, really well, and then they just kind of ghosted me, which pretty much is what happened, and I'm sure you people had a similar experience. I didn't really think about these people are well, they don't deserve to work with me or anything like this. I was always trying to like reflect on my behavior. Was there something that I could have done better? Was there something where I gave them a bad impression, or is there something that I can improve for next time? Maybe there is something, maybe there isn't. It's not always in your um in your hands, right? There's times where they just don't feel like it, or maybe there has been a different development within their company and they have to leave this project behind, but they don't feel like telling you whatever. This happens. The thing is, you really need to stay on the ball here. Don't be discouraged. I very recently made. I usually don't do cold calls, right? Because cold calls, actual calls on the phone, because I'm not there in person. People could theoretically easily hang up on me, and if can't just call someone and ask them how they're doing on something, they this would be weird, right? But I can do something like this on, for example, a convention or everywhere where you're in person. But I actually tried to step out my comfort zone last time. I called a short-term rental agency. I talked to the guy. For I think 5 seconds, I told them who I was, and I didn't try to sell a product. I didn't even get this far. They just told me that this was their private number, that they were on holidays, and that I should not bother them again. And they hung up on me. Well, first, why do they have their private number on their website? Okay, but this of course wasn't my problem. This was their fault. But the second they hung up on me, I was obviously not ready to end this conversation. I had a really weird feeling. I was really in a weird mind space because yeah, this guy I have been completely rejected without even going anywhere, right? So they didn't get to know me, nothing. They just hung up on me because it was a bad time. And while it felt super uncomfortable, it was clear that this wasn't like a problem with my person. It was bad timing, and yeah, we need to move on. But this is something that I will not forget for a long time. And in fact, it's really present still. Was such a weird feeling. I had like this uneasiness inside my entire body. It was really weird. It's kind of like when you are waiting for the grade from university class, and you're on the correct web page, and you know the grade should be there like any second, and you refresh, and that one time, one refresh, there are actually your points there, and you take it in, and you maybe didn't pass. It's weird. Yeah, you know that feeling, Coca? Yeah. But this is something that you also need to like experience failure, because otherwise you can't grow from this. Yeah. Oh boy. That real talk hit me like a brick. Talking to people is my weakest skill, but yes, you're working on it. This is great. The fact is, look, what I like, this community is called full cycle developers or engineers for. I chose developers instead of engineers because engineers is a protected term in some countries. Kinda is also in mine. You can only call yourself an engineer with certain certification. But we want to get the entire cycle, right? We want to do everything on our own. We want to be able to do everything on our own because this is what makes us so successful. Because if you were in a company with 4 or 5 people that pretty much probably they would serve a lot of more clients than one, or start out with more than one client. But if you can talk to people, maybe get a tiny contract for starters. My first contract wasn't huge, but it was for 500 euros, and I also negotiated that the person would have to. It was a professional photographer, and I would develop something for them for 500 euros flat, and they would also have to make the pictures at my wedding, which worked out fine, but it wasn't a huge amount of money, right? But it was great. Getting the first deal was great. It doesn't matter if you're getting 10 euros or 10,000 euros. Yeah, it's nice to have some money, but getting that one victory at the very start can give you so much momentum. It's the same as with the stream, right? I think today, 1 week ago, I did the first live stream, which was not easy for me. I was really nervous. I'm not talking in my native language. I'm not seeing the people that I talk to. I see there's 11 people here right now, but I have no idea how they look, whether they're making fun. If you guys are actually paying attention to what I'm saying, or if you're actually there making fun about me playing some sort of drinking game every time I make a mistake, or I don't know an English word. Everything's possible, right? I have no idea, but after the stream there was not a single negative comment. There were so much positivity. I did not expect this one, right? Because we're in the anonymous internet space. Any one of you can say anything, and I pretty much can't do anything about it. I mean, if you were unfriendly to me in the real world, I wouldn't be doing much else. But it's different. Like, people are not that unfriendly to me in the real world. Actually, they also have been super nice online, but when playing some video games, of course, you guys probably know this one, there is a very low barrier of toxicity, right? So yeah, you need to put yourself out there. There was so much excellent feedback last week, and also things that we can improve on, things that I did great. I'm also fine of hearing something that I don't do great, right? I've also been rewatching the videos, the streams. I actually tried to make this part where we connected Stripe into a separate video, and I was not happy with the quality, right? I also tried to cut out the things where I went off topic a bit, but overall, this wasn't something that I think I wanted to present. So I'm thinking about doing the entire thing where we go from 0 to hosted in a shorter amount of time, because of course I have been talking for 4 hours until we have deployed last week. But going over everything, again, with more quality is something that I want to do in the future. Because I think this is more about how people, if new people are coming, are looking at the full cycle dev website, and they really need to get something, they need to get a quick impression about what it is we're doing, right? So ideally, on this website here, there should be something that tells people what this is all about, right? And I think we also need to have some sort of medium or a video somewhere or something written. I actually started this on Substack. Because in the future, when we do new stuff or new features or implement something new, we probably want to have some sort of common ground. Because I'm sure if you guys are aware of this, on GitHub you can now create template repositories, which pretty much act as a template. You can create a project from a template and maybe create this one, maybe create something like this, and then always go from there. Because it is really really important that I think that if anyone that's joining, any new person that's joining, should be able to get up to speed pretty quick. So if you have any recommendations here, please, I'm very eager to hear them. This is why you prefer to work in a company, at least at the start, so you don't have to worry about that. Coco, I hear what you're saying, but the huge thing with working in a company versus being your own company is there is always what I call, there is a lid on top, right? There's only so far you can get in a company as an employee. So if I also worked as a regular employee at times, right? Actually, at pretty big companies too. But one of them is in the top 3 most highest valuable, the 3 most valued companies in Austria. I think it's on the second spot. First one being Red Bull, and then 2 Fortune 500 companies, and they were completely different in their style. But it was clear that if you want to make something meaningful, something important, it's not that easy, right? And even if you have your coworkers, depending on what type of company they are, there might be these what in one company is what called bands, and you can advance within these bands, and there are different career tracks. There was a salesperson, there was a management person, there was an engineering person track, and you could do your track and advance within the track, right? And I was interested when I was thinking about coming back to this company after university has finished. I was interested in both the management and the engineering band, but there was no blend of them. You can't do both, and I really liked managing people and developing on myself. So you could either get this engineering branch going. At the end, you would be called a distinguished engineer, or you could be in the management branch, and this is pretty fixed, right? Your own creativity doesn't get you far. or can't or won't break you out of any bracket really. And if you are bringing you have if you coworkers, for example, that are pretty much exactly the same as you, because you might have just started a company, they don't know how valuable you are starting out the same as others. And if you are doing twice the, or if you're delivering twice the output or 3 times the output, it is not guaranteed that you really advance inside the company. And what's usually also a fact is you will not get 3 times as much money, right? You get even, but if the company has a bad quarter, for example, you should still get paid, right? But if they have a really good quarter, you will also just get paid. There's usually no commission involved, at least not at the positions where I was. But if where I'm pretty much my own company, or I have my own companies, if I make 3 times as much in a quarter, I'm pretty much getting paid 3 times as much, or I have 3 times as much money to reinvest into different things. This is what I call the lid. It makes more sense in German, where it's capped. Yeah, I think capped is what's the English translation. So you really have a cap. If you can't extend this cap, even if you're working 60, 80 hours a month, you won't be able to go over this. Yes, you understand. Yeah, I think I talked way too much about this. I think you guys pretty much understood this from the very start. So if I'm rambling on about a topic which is really already clear to you, please feel free to cut me off here. So next up, what is something that is there any question, whether it's software or business related? Please feel free to ask always. I might not at the first stream, every time there was a new chat message, I instantly looked over, and it kind of got me out of my flow. So what I'm trying to do now is also why I answered this rather late, is I try to make my point to the end, and then I look if there are any questions, and then I try to answer them. Because I was actually, since I started streaming last week, I'm way more conscious about how other people do their streams, right? So I've been looking at streams from other people and how they are interacting with the chat and pretty much how they're behaving. And this is really, really interesting from a point. What I also realize is that I don't play any music, right? So the recordings that I watched were rather boring. It's kind of okay, I think, if you're just there for the informational, for the educational content, because you don't really need that much music. But I think, for example, if I'm not talking right now and I'm looking at the chat on my other monitor, isn't this super boring for you? Because there's not much happening then? Or maybe you're playing your own music and that's fine. Might actually be a smart idea. Okay, so but I think I made my point about the conventions, getting out of your bubble, talking to people. Only talking to people is something that will get you very far. Even if you talk to people and are not making a sale, maybe you have some business cards. Maybe you I think for every 10 business cards I handed out, even after these people requested them, 1 or 2 at most are really becoming a connection that you talk to more than once afterwards. Okay, it's not useful for educational content having music. Oh, I got a new follow. I'm super happy. This is the first one today. Oh boy. Is it Othman Mozaid? Thank you very much for following. Welcome to the community. Check out our social links. Join the other channels if there's something that you're interested in. Yeah, I agree. It might not be useful for educational content, but the thing is, maybe in the future, what we're going to do is do some co-working streams, for example, where we might jump on. Maybe this is something that we care about. So what I've seen, we are now a official Discord community server, right? So this is great. We don't have the 1,000 members yet to be discoverable. But this is something that's been going on. So what we can actually do is, where was this? I can create a stage where people are talking about stuff. I can also create a forum. I have no idea if this makes any sense, but we can also do stage events, and with an audience, Q&A and stuff. and maybe that would also work for, let's say, some co-working stuff. Have a round of a few people that are dedicated to work for, let's say, 3 hours. We come together, everyone gets 3 to 5 minutes to talk about what they're working on today. So we all get a feeling that we're not these isolated people, because we all care about each other, or at least I care about you guys. And if there's something that you want to work on, you tell us. Then we do like maybe work 1 hour, have a quick break, maybe have some questions, do this again, and then have a finishing talk. See what we all achieved. Maybe show something, and maybe this is something that would work. Whether it's a software product, whether it's creating a business plan, or whether it's just you're working on your thesis for university. Maybe I could give you some pointers. Sounds fun, like the study sessions back from uni. Yes, it's kind of inspired, I guess, from this one. But we can also, yeah. Study sessions make sense, yeah. I think it's a good idea. If you care or not, let me know if this is something that might be interesting. I mean, we can do this regardless, and people hop in or leave. But when I was doing my master's thesis last year, I really like, the thing is, in Austria it's pretty much free at a time from times of money to study in a university, right? So it's not uncommon for people to not go through university quickest possible, as quick as possible, because either you are enjoying life too much or want to do something on the side. And I personally think that most of the things that I know now, I did not learn from university, but during university, if this makes any sense. Because I have to admit that I had a lot of free time during university. So I was able to do something that I care about, and which was pretty much creating software, selling software to other people. This was really great. I also was an admin for a community for over 7, or I think over 8 million people by now, but I laid that office down. But yeah, during university, I had a lot of time to do what I care about, and I did learn quite a lot during university, but I don't think it was from the university classes at themselves. There was some algorithm stuff that I really benefited from that I probably wouldn't have learned myself. But yeah. Yeah, let's do study sessions. About what I was talking about, the master's thesis, right? Yeah. When I was doing my master's thesis, most people, this was full COVID mode, right? During my entire master's degree, I was only at university once. This was where I got my actual paper degree. From the time where I joined the program to where I finished, no real face-to-face interaction. And it was boring. I have to totally admit this one. And it was really hard for me to finish my studies, to actually write the master's thesis. I had everything else. I was done with every course, every class was done, but the master's thesis was the final thing that I had to do, right? And I did nothing for half a year. I was actually landed a new client. I actually had one client where I did rather a lot of services, right? I was at their office. I had my own desk there. It was really there were really nice people there. It was a really, really, really enjoyable atmosphere, and I liked this significantly more than finishing my master's thesis. So what I then did, because I had my second kid on the way and I wanted to be done with university before the second kid comes, I actually forced myself, Bot Bomber, welcome. I forced myself into a super boring environment, or what I thought was a super boring environment, where I actually didn't want to be, right? I didn't want to be there, but I told myself I can leave here after 3 hours of work, for example, or after 20 pages, or whatever arbitrary measure you want to call on. And I actually went to a nearby shopping center, there was a Starbucks, and there were these super uncomfortable wooden chairs and tables, like the one you would have outdoors usually, which are there at, which are always exposed to the elements, and are of course not super comfortable. And I sat down on this one. There were comfortable chairs and tables. Don't get me wrong, but I actually took the most uncomfortable looking spot. I sat down there. I opened up my laptop. There was not even enough space on this little table to have a separate mouse. And I just started working. And I was so free from any distractions. I was really, really productive. If I would have been at my back then, where I actually had an office, in our flat, which is now a room for the kids. I have a huge setup, 4K monitors, super nice stuff. I would always have a stream over there, maybe talk to some people, have, of course, what is important, my thesis in the center screen, but I would get distracted all the time, right? Because I didn't really want to write my thesis. I mean, from the second that I've been finished from university, nothing changed for me career-wise. All the companies that I had back then, I still have. I don't have any new company. Nothing much has happened, but this was just something that would always be in my head. When my wife would have asked me if we wanted to do something, it doesn't matter if I wanted to or didn't want to. There was always this thought in the back of my head, you can't have fun. You still have to finish your degree, right? And there was this point where it was too much for me that I actually decided, yeah, I need to get going. I need to finish this. Yeah. So yeah, this was a quick. I want to say, I'm really struggling with these phrases in English because there was a quick detour. I think would be accurate. Yeah, quick detour from my life. So, should we talk about the upcoming community projects next, or should we care more about the whether we want to add the social stats back here? But honestly, if any one of you guys, there's 11 people here, wants to say, hey, I want to take over creating a beautiful public facing website for full cycle dev, I will not touch this again. And you are free to do. Actually, if anyone wants to do this for learning purposes, and we could then review this on the next stream, like for example, ideally we have 5 or more pull requests where people made something interesting for the community. We could review these changes. This would be super fun. If you think, yeah, no, I'm not going to do something for free, then yeah, fine too. Procrastination is a horrible thing. I do it all the time, especially when it comes to studying. I'm tending to do everything at the last minute. Yes, and this could actually be a very, very good thing too, depending on to which extreme this comes. So if you have significantly less time, or there is a hard deadline, if you do not submit at a certain time, you might actually be significantly more creative and actually work better. Right? Does this make any sense? Because if you would do something the way you learned it at the class, and you already heard how you would have to finish this one, you're pretty much just repeating what happened there. But if you know you can't win by traditional means, you have to get creative. This is something where I think people excel or become bigger persons, for lack of language. The literal translation would be they grow above themselves or grow over their heads. But I think this doesn't sound correct in English. I can fully understand the missing of words. I just moved to Australia from India about 3 years. I search for words always. All right. From what you type, from your written language, I would not have been able to tell. So really, really great. But yeah, I think like such things like the typical phrases that you would say that you don't learn anywhere other than by talking to people. I think it's a bit hard. Ronald, David, you're not good at front end. This is not what I wanted to hear. This would be the ideal chance to get better. Just saying, right? The hard deadline is what makes me work better. Yes, yeah, it's true. It has been for me too. Okay, so if you think you're bad with front end, imagine my neck cracked because I'm really getting ready. Let's then do. Yeah, let's go ahead. Tabler has been suggested that we use Tabler, right? Tabler is Bootstrap based. I've been looking over this for like 5 minutes. You're trying hard with this site I'm building. I've been learning a lot of CSS, but I need good design to start with. Yes, what's the biggest showstopper for me, myself, is I am super bad at coming up with a design. If someone shows me something like I want to say a wireframe, I can rebuild this, I can create this, fine. See the front end workflow from the pro. You clearly never saw my products that I sell to people. There is a reason why I'm selling software to people that just need to get a job done, or that's automating stuff, right? So it doesn't have to be pretty, right? It looks all right, but it's not something that I would win a design award for. I have never worked with Tabler, but I think it might be interesting, right? From what I've seen, this works exactly the same as Bootstrap does, but it does look a bit, I want to say, fresher, because the Bootstrap is great. I really love Bootstrap. But the same as with at the time, there was this Google Material Design hype, and pretty much all the websites and also all Android apps looked the same. Which is fine for purpose driven, which is not fine if you want to make something flashy that uses care. For example, yesterday I've reflected a bit on why people like DigitalOcean so much. I personally don't use them, but maybe it's super flashy, right? If you, for example, they call their servers, they call them droplets, which makes sense because it's a water drop in the big ocean. But for example, if you were to create a droplet, is there some kind of flashy animation like a water drop hitting the button? Might be really cool, right? There was also back at the previous customer where I also sat at their office, I also did interviews for them. I interviewed candidates for them, and one of them said that what sets him apart is that he creates visual things that make customers go, nice. So he goes over this edge, and this is exactly what I like to have in my apps, of course, but it's just so far away from my nature, because I'm happy if something works, and if I actually there's also icons here, and if I'm happy if it works. Like, and if I do something super flashy, it might break something or do some side effect, or it did in the past, and this is why I completely refrained from this. So I could download the template. I don't on the bottom left. Actually, you can't see this. Let me make my browser smaller. If I say download, on the bottom left it says checkout by. This is not what I want to do. I thought this was free. This looks like it might be free. Oh, so you would also only get this this thing. I downloaded this already. Okay. Let's go into installing. Download, maybe. Yes. So what we're gonna do, we are gonna use a CDN for this. Might not be ideal because technically, if you're for example, if you're using React or any of the package-based JS front ends, you would only bundle the classes that you actually use. So let's have a look at this minified CSS. It is rather big, right? And if you're using this by CDN, you will ship all of this on every page load. Might be fine, might not be fine. But if you're using like React, for example, it will only bundle whatever you need from this one. This is something this is a benefit that we are losing here. But actually, since this should be interchangeable with Bootstrap, because it's based on Bootstrap, let me go back here, fire up this. Actually, let's go back to the main, bro. Actually, is this still part of social stats? I think it is still part of social stats. No, this is not what I wanted to do. Let's fire up the environment. Actually, let's fire up the whalefish first. Whalefish is not the correct word. The whale first. Where is it? There it is. Okay, great. So we're gonna go back to our zeros. This is a time where I would really like to have some music, for example, because this is something that I did over and over again. Music really gets me going for this one, or at least it keeps me focused. I'm not listening to what people would call focus music in any traditional way, but yeah, this is something where I would like to be jamming to something. But we need to make our main page now. So the thing is, here, our main page is just the base file, right? This is the base file. If we have a look at our URLs from the config, this is the standard route. We have a template view with nothing but the template. And the template is just the home template, and it has no arguments, right? So if we are looking at the home HTML, not very interesting. If we extend the content block, one thing, I did try the AWS Code Whisperer last time, and it really didn't work fine for me at all. I really didn't have much. Didn't really get much from this one. Is someone here using the AWS Code Whisperer? Because actually, let me try let me give it a second chance. I'm gonna disable my GitHub Copilot completions. I go back to the installed where the AWS toolkit resides. I will reapply it. I will restart it, and then maybe I'm just too stupid to use it. But I was promised that this would scan the file tree and not make suggestions with files that don't exist. But this happened to me, so maybe I'm not. Maybe I did something wrong here. You use Codium, but using it for about 3 months, good enough for being free. Yeah, I mean, GitHub Copilot is technically not free, so it's not a free product. There is some like some ways to get it for free, but I don't know. This is actually should be a AAA product, and it should behave like one, or at least that's what's this here. I don't want to configure if. Oh boy. Okay. Okay, so I have connected an AWS Builder ID here, and auto suggestions are running, right? So I think this only works with Python for now. So I'm not expecting anything here inside the templates, which is super fine. But if I type something here and I restart the environment, give it 1 second. Yeah, there's a student pack for students, which includes a lot of nice tools. That is true. For anyone who doesn't know, this is a suggested background. This is not for me. It's apparently a advertisement. So the GitHub student pack, it's really great. The student developer pack, I used a few things of this myself. If you're still a student, or at least have a university mail, wink, this is enough. You can get quite a few things here. So actually, I did only use 2 things, I think. I used the free domain somewhere, and there's also, someone mentioned this, what's it called? Bootstrap Studio, which is a drag and drop editor for Bootstrap. Yeah, there it is. Which was a fine thing. and I think it also works great as a starter if you Copilot is what I've been using. Yeah, those two things that I've claimed to back then. Bootstrap Studio was fine because you could also drag and drop some things, then export whatever you've been visually creating, put that into your Django application, and then make changes from there. This is free for everyone, I think. Yeah, but there's stuff that you can work with, right? I actually used this for my startup, right? We were using Stripe as for payment processing, and I actually used this this transaction waiver. So this was fine because I think this was, I mean, I think 30 or 40 bucks were saved by this, but it's always great to get something for free, I think. Doesn't matter if, or for me, it wouldn't matter if I had 50 bucks in my bank account or 50 million in my bank account. I would always be happy to get stuff for free. Or at least stuff for free that you actually want to have, right? Because there's people on the street passing you samples from stuff that you don't care about. But I am very happy to get something for free that I like. Okay, so here I just typed something in, this works. But the other problem is, of course, you don't pass any context here. So there are a few things. So what we of course could do is have, holy crap, how's it called? A template context. We could add context, global context, which is fine, or we could also create our own view for this home. So I'm actually leaning towards making our own view for this. As a matter of fact, because I think it's cleaner to cut this apart. Because otherwise, you would have the same database call. We're actually also going to implement caching on this one. Yeah, let's make it your own view, because I also want to show the Django caching engine a bit. How many different options we have with Django caching, and that it works out of the box with this setup that I'm thinking about. So we actually, for socials, maybe make, this is a question. Usually if you were looking at the URLs here, right? So we can of course include different URLs like we did with the user, or last time with the plowing or with the billing, but we can also just make this use the social app. So the question is, what will our social app, will this be anything else in the future? I don't know. But let's make this make this the home view, right? So, and now if I open this, I would expect some type of code completions, right? There will always be request as the first argument. Why am I not seeing this? I need to type Option C to force a, see, this doesn't work. Like, there is no request here. I see it also thinks that I'm using Flask. So do I have to make any changes to the AWS Code Whisperer? This doesn't work for me. Because I also don't think that there's much I can configure here. Well, this was not what I wanted to do. Here in the toolkit, can I make any changes? I don't think there's settings. Tools, okay. Code Whisperer. Share content, this is actually something that I don't want. Yeah, so this really isn't great for me. I really don't like this one. So I'm gonna deactivate this one again, and I will restart, and yeah. Turn the GitHub Copilot on again. No idea if this works right now. I have to restart. I probably have to restart. Okay, let's make this just not error. Restart the IDE. This reminds me of my Linux days, where I would also crash my operating system every other day, and I would have to do everything from start again. This is not the ideal experience. So we have a request here, which is an HTTP request. Right. So we want to import this, of course. And then let's get our latest social stat. Okay, let's just go with stats, because we're gonna post this to the context, which is of course social stats. Objects, first or last, I have no idea. Let's have a look at how this is implemented, right? Do we have any? We don't have a meta class for following. So if we would do a meta class here. Okay, fine, let's add all this. But what I'm caring about most is ordering. Yes, so let's go with this one. Yep, I think this is the right way. And then we return a render. This is also, of course, from shortcuts. Yeah, so this page exists, right? This is what we did here. Oh, okay, great. So for here, we would, let's just copy this one, remove this, call this social. Okay. This socials, put this 3, nope. Okay, reformat yourself. Remove this as is. Alright, so we also need this URL file. This callback that I mentioned was not existing anymore. We will actually remove this. Here we gotta do the home. I think we called it home, right? Did we? Yeah. Okay, this will also be GOM. We have to restart this. Did I make an error here? Oh, yeah. So, in the views, this Copilot told me created add. It's just called created. If we remember, in base model, wait, what's the shortcut? It is Command B, I think. Right. It's only called created, not created add. So this is why Django exited, which means we have to restart this stack. Fingers crossed, it should work now. Home not found. All right, so in the base HTML file, there is something called home here, where it would link to, which is of course social's home now. Same goes for this. Let's have a look now. Very good, it works now. Of course, what we usually want to do, we also want to, where are the views? I'm passing the stats context, I'm going back to home, and here we can say, for example, I don't want to see this. Let's say Twitter and make, I think this is Twitter. No, actually Twitter doesn't work, right? We are live on Twitch now, so let's say Twitch followers. Very good. Do we not have any Twitch followers? Why did it not work? So we have stats. We have a stats object from social stats, Twitch _ followers. It actually might be possible that we have not. Yeah, we have not. We don't have anything in the database here right now. Okay, so we're gonna create a super user. Okay, super insecure, but it's fine for our local development. I call... Okay, remember me, I'm getting a email verification, and I can show you Mailpit now, I think. Yes. So there's nothing here, but there is something on port 8025, 35. Wow. Okay. However, we are going into our compose file. Have a look at where it says Mailpit 8. Did I not say 25? Okay, it just didn't autocomplete. Oh, okay. Now it does. Weird. So there, please confirm your email address. We're going to confirm our email address. Yes, this is my email address. Why does... Oh, no, now the autocomplete works, but I can't use it. We're signing into this. Remove all of this. Go back to admin. And I do not have social stats configured here, but I have it on the live server. Let's just create social stats on our own. Let's say we have, how many Twitch followers do we have? Can I see this somewhere? There's 2 more followers today. Thank you so much. We have 90 followers now. Let's just create this object here. Remove all of this. Very good. 90 Twitch followers. So we are also just gonna add a button that does nothing, right? So just for the sake of whether it works, we make this a button, oh, no, not style, class, of course. Button primary. Please autocomplete me. This is a button, a baton. Okay, so if we're gonna implement, let's remove this error because people are gonna make fun of me. Here is a Bootstrap button, right? It's a primary button from Bootstrap, and if we were to remove Bootstrap, put in Tabler, it should still look like a fancy button, but with how do we call it? Different style. Okay, so let's go back to our base file because this is what we're extending everywhere, and there will be Bootstrap somewhere. Okay, so here's Bootstrap, here's the Bootstrap CSS, and here is the JavaScript part. Okay. There are plugins here, which looks like flags, payment, and vendors will not be something that we need. So let's go ahead, take the CSS, remove Bootstrap, put this in instead. Also put the JavaScript here. A refresh, and let's see if this works. All right, so we have a different navigation here. We have a different button here, which looks a bit different, yeah. And pretty much everything else changed too. Okay, let's click about the other things. Still looks like it works. It has a background now everywhere. So these are the default settings. Okay. Wow, great, I guess. So let's keep on going with this. Let's add a card for Twitch. We are gonna look into, maybe we're gonna also, let's see if they have a Twitch logo here. They do have a Twitch logo. Maybe we're gonna use the icons. Okay, we were looking at cards, right? So do we have, nope. Is this not called a card? Like this one? Let's copy from them. Preview and inspect. See what this is. This is a card. Okay. So we're gonna copy everything. Let's go into our home. Paste this in and see how it does. Very good. We are really great developers, right? We now have a row which should also be responsive with what we care about. Great. So there's also icons here. Maybe we have Twitch already. So where was this? No, okay, this is not what we... Okay, so there's an SVG which does this. But copy and paste is fine as long as we know what it does. Exactly. So this is the same as it does in Bootstrap, right? We have a row, right? A row is like this, everything is inside this row. And then we have, for each of the children, let's make this smaller, we have these classes, right? Are we all familiar with what this does? There will always be 12 units of width when using Bootstrap, right? And if the screen is large, this is a large screen, each of them is using 3 spaces, like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, right? 3 are there, which means that on a large screen there can be 4 there. On a screen that's small, or that's not large pretty much, but from small to medium, it takes up the width of 6. So if the screen is smaller, this takes up 6 spaces. So this breaks into a new visual row. Okay. So we are now going to add these tabular icons. Can we use a CDN here? I don't even want to have them for free. I just want to use the CDN. Can I get them via CDN, please? Okay. Is this an up-to-date version? Do we know this? Or did it say something here? Nope. Leave me be in the source code. Of course, we could also download this. This is something that might be interesting and depends on wherever you are living. Because there has been a series of lawsuits. There's a pay zero option, yes, but I would then still download the files, which I would need to do put into the static file and stuff. I see. I have already found this in the CDN. But there has been a series of lawsuits in Austria where people or companies have been sued for cease and desist because they have been integrating Google fonts and loading them from the Google CDN, which means that every time someone is visiting a European website, there is a ping to an American website, which is evil and which does in fact infringe data protection laws. And therefore, whenever you are on a website that you have created, and this is important for you, I don't know if this is important for you, you can go to inspect, you see on network, and then refresh the website. So you see where the website has been fetching stuff from, right? So there's a lot of stuff that you have from your browser extensions, for example, this one. Actually, let's go back. All of these things are browser extensions, right? These are your personal things. Actually, maybe it makes more sense to watch this from a you go here, from an anonymous browser window. So we go to network, we refresh this, we see there's a few things. All from zero are loaded from the web server directly, which is fine by default because no one else is getting anything out of this. These two, of course, are the ones that we just edited, and these are from the CDN from JS Deliver, sorry. And I don't know if this is a problem in your jurisdiction. Of course, when I'm doing a client side or anything, I will download these things, put them into the Django statics folder, and load them from there. So just a heads up, which is pretty much something that I think I will be doing later on anyway. But then I would have to hide my entire file system again, and that's not what I care about right now. Okay, so I thought I saw this one here, copy link tag. Okay, we're gonna go back to our base and put them below here. This also does have integrity, fine. Okay. Where are the icons again? Here. Oh, is this what you meant? Yeah, CDN in it, or I could copy the SVG here. Can I really? So actually, let's give it a try. Remove this again. Go back to the home. Remove this, put in this, refresh our page. There's a Twitch icon. Yeah, oh, okay. Huh, it should work, and it did work. Very good. So there's text white. Let's actually go first up over here. We remove this one. This is the Twitch logo. Let's reformat this. I actually have a mouse with a side scroll button now. This is actually pretty interesting. So instead of text white, do we have something like text purple? How does text primary look? Oh, actually we don't want this. We want to have, is that primary outline? No. This of course needs to stay white. My bad, but the background needs to be something else. It shouldn't be black. I don't think that looks pretty. But now's the time where we look into the documentation and see what color schemes they ship automatically. It should be somewhere here. If not, there is. I'm looking for all the background options. So I think there's color somewhere, right? Borders, colors. Oh boy. Am I missing this? Color check? Color check? No, I don't think color check. Maybe it's under layout. No. Oh, boy. Okay, let's have a look at some using any Bootstrap auto completion plugin. What PyCharm does is that whenever you have something like this here, where it has these squiggly lines, you can download this library to your I want to say IDE. It is under project files. There you also have these external libraries, and this one that I just downloaded now by clicking this, and it will automatically index this. I have no idea what VS Code does, but basically what it does, it caches this, or it reads all the class names from this CSS, and then you have the auto-completion. So we could, of course, instead of BG black, have a look what BGs accept. We have warning, we have danger, we have success, we have secondary and stuff. Let's look at secondary, but this is probably not what we want. It's probably gray, yeah, which is boring. We want something that's really nice and purple. Let's go for alerts. We probably have something here. Okay, so we have success, we have info, we have warning, and we have danger. None of these matter. So let's go with background Twitch. Go to our project CSS. Make a background, a class background Twitch. If this is the correct Twitch color, I'm super happy with my auto-completion. Does look like Twitch, right? Very good. So we have on our homepage, we also need to edit the... Okay, so this is something that I wanted to do. We have, of course, in our admin page, we go to the social stats and we create more stats from Eve, and we go with something more. We go with 95. Okay. So, and here we are actually grabbing the first two. So with this is now a query set with two, right? The most recent two, most recent because we have set this ordering in a meta class. So if we do not specify anything else there, we will use this ordering here. Okay, so now we have, actually, does this return a list or does this still return a query set? This is of course not correct anymore. This is now a query set of social stats. Yeah, we import this, and we of course we have current stat, which is the first one, and then we have a delta, which we are gonna make a dictionary, and we have Twitch, for example. Okay, well, now it gets it. Does this look correct? Yeah, it does correct. So we are gonna add the delta here. And on our home page, this is Twitter, right? So we say here we have Twitch followers, not Twitter. Thank you for being my brain. And then we have, see, now why does it not suggest a delta here? Why does it do something arbitrary, right? So we want to have delta.twitch followers. If we look back here, something didn't work. Twitch followers, is it called Twitch followers? Maybe stats is empty. No, I already know the error. This is, of course, we want to have current here, so we put current here. Okay, go back to our home and make this current. What is great. So we have 95. Of course, we also need to call it followers. And this will be 24-hour delta and a closing parenthesis. Okay. So what we also could do, whether this is a positive or a negative number, we could change the color here. But let's focus on the other stuff. First, we have YouTube. Where are the icons? This probably also has YouTube then. Filled or not, I don't think we use filled. We are here, we're gonna replace this one, gonna reformat. Use our new scroll wheel to go there. You're seriously considering downloading PyCharm? I think VS Code would help you that much if you would find a plugin for this. I personally, this is the reason, I've used VS Code for a variety of times. I used it when I was writing smart contracts, but I always came back to PyCharm and IntelliJ for more serious stuff. So we have current.youtube subscribers. Okay, and we also have oh boy, okay, I'm gonna remove the left sidebar. We don't need this one. We put this on the right, so I actually have something to copy from. Oh, it's the same key. But let's copy this one here. Where's my browser? What happened here? So chat goes on the second monitor. Oh, Brave decided to update without my permission, or maybe I forgot something. Very interesting. Alright, we are now back here. We have YouTube. YouTube, of course, has a red background, so we can actually use danger. So yeah, for Twitter, which would actually be on the correct page, but we don't have the Twitter stats, as I mentioned, because I do not want to pay $3,000 per month for this feature. Maybe we can scrape it somewhere. But actually, if you were to go to Twitter anonymously, do you even see this? They probably have a user agent protection, right? They probably have something to fetch it, because theoretically, if we would get this web page with Beautiful Soup or some other scraping tool, we would be able to determine the amount of followers, and we could scrape this. Let's give it a try later. So 0 YouTube subscribers. This is because we didn't put anything in there. I don't know how many we have, but let's just plug our YouTube channel. Subscribe. 51 subscribers. Hell yeah. And for Discord, I think we have about 370 members. So let's go here. Yeah, we have 51 subscribers, and the delta is also plus 51 because the old one doesn't have anything right here. Great. So we are gonna create a background Discord. Please have this information for me. Is this the Discord brand color? Don't think it is. Do we have an icon for Discord here? We go to home. Delete this one, put in our Discord buddy. Reformat, scroll back. I'm really not great navigating HTML files with the keyboard only. So we call this Discord. See, now I also have the completion for this one, where it says me where it gets it from, right? So it's from the project CSS, the one we custom made. Okay, so we have for Discord, I'm gonna copy. Wow, this scrolling is horrible. Where's this one? I'm gonna copy this in its entirety over there. This has Discord members, which means we're also gonna put members here, and I'm gonna show you the localization here right now too. Discord members. Very good. Okay. Okay, we don't need to inform people that this is a button anymore. But we probably want to have some kind of spacing, but we will very likely also change the navigation bar. Okay, let's, the way we would probably do this is we also would have a margin top here of, let's say 3. We'll put everything a bit down. I'm not sure if you like this or if you don't, but what really bothers me, of course, that there are only 3 icons instead of 4. So we have 2 options, and we either we add a 4th, or we make those 3 use the entire space. If we use those 3 to fill the entire space, of course, if the screen would go smaller, we would have something like this, which is not ideal too. This is why I always like even numbers. So actually, let's make something. Every one of you can sign up on this website, right? So every one of you could go to fullcycledev.io and create a user account. Let's also track our user accounts here. Okay. So actually, these are the ones that are finished, but I'm gonna duplicate one of them. Here we are current we're just gonna users, right? And we're also gonna let's just make this simpler for now and just say signed up. Here we would of course also need to wait, is it deployed? Yes, I did deploy it yesterday. So I could also show you the way that that it works with the periodic tasks. You go to fullcycledev.io, you have this magnificent website. So we probably can fetch something like something that says developer, which is probably just the thingies. Where's the Valorant when I said developer? Oh, let's make code maybe. Yeah, let's just go with this for now. Yeah, code. Great minds think alike. Let's put this here. It's a stupid question, but how does it update the changes without you pushing it? It doesn't. What you mean? You mean here? Have a look at the URL. This is my localhost. This is not on the fullcycledev webpage. If we go to the webpage, you will see that it has not been updated, right? There's nothing here. If I refresh this, nothing fancy. Here is the local changes. So we will also need a users count, which we're just gonna make an integer, which is user objects count. Very good. We of course have to import users from the users model, this one, at the context. Great, and we are gonna put users count here. So we have one user, which is me. Very good. A different color, we are missing something more in the yellow spectrum. So maybe let's just use one of the predefined one and make this a warning color. Okay, great. So now we have some stats here. All right. We could also have a local environment basically picks up any changes made to structure. You may have to clear cache. Okay, I never had to clear cache for this to work. But actually, now that you're talking about it, I subconsciously refresh my cache. If you're on Mac and you hit Command R, you just refresh, right? If you hit Command Shift R, it does do a full refresh. Okay, remove this one, we're fine with this. Okay, let's see if these are changes that we are fine pushing. Do we want to have anything login gated? No, everything should be for everyone to see, I think. This looks fine, this looks fine. We are gonna run our pre-commit, if you remember. Suppose it depends on how your setup is. You mean? So yeah. Sorry. Yeah, you have to hit Control F5. I think is what you mean. Control 5. Yeah, probably because you're on a Windows machine, right? On a Mac, the control doesn't do much outside of the code space. So we're going to run the pre-commit again, which will tell us whatever formatting or linting issues we have. Okay, there was a bit of a problem with formatting here. So this has reformatted our file. Okay, let's rerun. Probably shouldn't get an issue now. Okay, perfect. Now everything adheres to our code, our internal code guidelines, and we're gonna push this. So looking at our repository on GitHub, never mind. Here I have created an issue. If you want to have anything else integrated, open an issue, please. We have a fetch social accounts for Twitch, YouTube, and Twitter. If I open this, I will see that there is already a commit here and a completed merge. So you see here this number #1. If we have this in our commit message, like here, it will automatically link to this. So if I call this adds tabler IO, which we did. This is in the way this commit adds tabler. This is why I'm saying it like this: adds commit adds tabler and adds display of social stats on home page. Okay, we commit this on our social stats branch. We will see an update here. Very good. And now we have a few options. We either leave this here or we create a pull request. I will have a look at what I did. Ideally, someone else has a look, because if I'm the only person working on this, then it's just like me doing this, patting myself on the back. I'm not sure how beneficial this is. So in the future, someone else hopefully can review these things. So if any one of you wants to, we didn't implement caching, right? So although the database can handle this super easily, we probably don't want this website to be calculated every time. Because what's changing here? The only content that's changing are the social stats. And if we have a look at which social stats we have, yes, let's reopen this. We have 3 that are changing once every 24 hours, right? So these 3 are changing every 23 hours. Why? Because we have the periodic task set to run every day at 2 a.m. in the morning. But 2 a.m. is in the morning. Okay, but this one is a live update. So what we want to do is implement some sort of caching, right? Now, if you remember, in our production file, we have caches defined, right? We didn't do it, the code generation did, but we obviously understand what we're doing. And we have Redis as our default cache, right? It uses Redis caching backend. It is on our machine, which is inside the Docker Compose, right? So let's have a look at the Django documentation for caching. Django's cache framework. There is a lot of stuff here to read up. Of course, there's more information that we can use here, but basically we can use a variety of caches, right? We can cache certain parts of a template. We can cache a view. We could cache an entire app. We could cache a lot of different stuff. And basically here, this is all how you would set up the cache. Cookie Cutter already did this for us. So yeah, it has Redis here, for example, how this would work, how you would configure it for Redis. Okay, so far so good. We only want to apply this. Yeah, here. The per view cache, this is something we can do. We just need to add this decorator to our home view. Okay, this would be enough. Or we could also do the template caching. Okay, here we have template fragment caching. We could theoretically put these 3 into a separate caching key. So these would be cached for, I want to say 20 hours or so, and these would be cached for 1 hour. Okay, or you could also make a cache not for everyone, but for every user. Because, for example, we might display something else. If this would be for a user, and this would be stats, you are logged in and these are your social stats, right? Then maybe if the user refreshes, we would send 4 or 3 API requests to different APIs. Okay, this might not be ideal. It would be enough to refresh this every 5 minutes, for example. If we were to do this, to make the cache dependent on the user, so each user has their own cache for 5 minutes, you can add a variety of, I'm gonna show you which cache I'm using, which stack I'm using in a second. Thank you for the follow, Frankly Gamer. We are gonna use, if we're gonna use this, this is for our for every logged in username. No, sorry, is this? No, this is not what I'm. Let me give you a second, because there is a way where we could do this conditionally. So if this equals true, but I think this is for the person, right? For every user of your site. Yeah, this is what I was talking about. Here we would do this for every unique. We give the sidebar cache fragment another condition, which means request username, and this will only be present. Remember, if you reference keys in the template, they do not exist. The template doesn't error; it just doesn't display. So in this case, this would evaluate to false if the user would be logged out. So every logged out user has the same, and every logged in user also has the exact same. Each logged in user has his own cached variety. So every login user would have their social stats cached for themselves. So there is a lot of different things that we could do. You want me to link that site? This is just the Django documentation, but I'm glad to link it to you. Yeah. And you could also have different caches, right? You can use Redis, for example. You could also have a file system cache, or whatever. You could also have Redis here, and you have some other cache inside the AWS cloud. It's all possible. You might want to have some things that are easy to handle or are not requested that often because they are in a nested on a nested page, on some low performance cache, fine. And something that's on the main page that is referenced every time, maybe on something that's more high performance. Okay, so this is something that would be programmatically accessing the cache. So you would encode always know what the user is currently seeing. You can do this. There's this cache API. Fine. This is not what we need right now. But in case you will ever need this for any of your projects, be sure to read this up and this exists. You can also invalidate cache here. I'm not sure. Yeah, here. Which is fine, but we're going to use the most basic one, which is the per view cache. So we are going to, in our views pie, on our home, we're going to put this here. We are going to import this from the cache decorators. And here we're gonna determine how long this should stay valid, right? So a very easy way is actually the way they write it here. So we have, this is in seconds. So we're gonna put 60 for 60 seconds would be 1 minute. Then we say how many minutes we care about. So if we want to, this is 1 hour, yeah, right? So this is 60 seconds times 60 minutes, which is 1 hour, or 3,600 seconds. And then the way, what would be suggested now, times 24 would be the entire day. But if we want to have this, for example, every 2 hours, then we would do it like this. Okay, let's accept their comment. Cached for 2 hours. Okay, so if some user would subscribe on, I mean, as I told you, these stats are only fetched once every 24 hours, right? So the caching for them doesn't really matter that much. But this could otherwise change in real time. So if we want to, we could also make this fragment separate if we would do the template caching. But let's keep this cached for 2 hours. Okay, let's add a 2 hour cache for social stats. We push this, and over here we are gonna see that there have been more changes. And if we click on the issue, because we linked the issue, remember, with writing #1, we can see this all. We can see all of them here. Okay, So if we want to add this to our main code base, a couple of ways. We could either go to code and click on this big bar, but this is only because this was active. If it isn't active, we can manually add a new pull request. Say we want to make the changes and add the changes to the main branch, and we want to add them from feature social stats. Okay, so the two things that have been that are new here are both the display of social stats on the homepage and the caching, for example. Yes, I want to create a pull request. We can give this a name, add our social stats with caching on home page. Usually we want a nice description because someone else will review this. Yeah, if you created all of this and you write here what you did, why you did it, and for example, your reasoning for the 2-hour caching, for example, then you create a pull request, and then another person will make reviews. They can write stuff here, they can link stuff here, and in the end, if everything's fine, they can merge this. The difference is squashing. What squashing means is here I proposed to add these two to the main branch, right? 2 commits to the main branch, and if I merge this, by default there will also be these 2 commits in the main branch. If I squash this, then there will only be 1 commit. I'm fine with having everything there. I confirm the merge. Okay, perfect. So what this says is that the pull request has been successfully merged, and you can delete the other branch, which is completely fine. I don't care that this branch stays open, so this branch can stay. And here we have those changes on the main branch now. Okay. And as a matter of fact, I can log into the site now. I did not add the CD for this server yet. So I'm gonna do this the manual way, the way I showed you on last Friday's stream. Okay, here is a little warning that's interesting. In socials, one of the models in socials has changes that are not reflected in a migration. What does this mean? So this means we forgot to make migrations at one point. I actually personally don't know what might be missing. Okay. The change of the meta options was not committed. Okay, so both the default ordering and the verbose name. Okay, so we're actually going to update the main branch. Switch over to the main branch and make this commit directly to the main branch. Adds missing migrations file. Pushes up. Of course, we have to redeploy this, and we will see this on the main page. Of course, this here will also need to be, this README will also be will need changing, right? We could also want to reflect as much information about the community as we can here. Okay. So we have made all these changes that we have locally and added them. Added them, yeah. Great. So what else will we put here? Does anyone here have a suggestion what makes sense to put here? Because what of course makes sense is to have all the other social links here, like have a link to Substack, right? Maybe even display recent Substack posts. It's possible that they offer this in the settings. This is something that would make sense. Is there anything else that you guys could think of that you think might make sense? We see an error here. Why do we see this error here? You mean add my personal LinkedIn? Yeah, we could do this. So are you peeps spamming this website? Because I'm getting a lot of emails for the error. I personally know the error. If you don't stop, I will. Okay, I'll fix this, and then we talk about why this error happened. So if you remember, this is the problem. For social stats, hang on, give me a second. I've got the text. This part fetches the two last. There are no two last, so I'm gonna create one with. Actually, let's make one with the correct data. Now we have two. Now if we visit a site, the index works. Okay. So this was the difference. Okay, because we were grabbing this, and usually you would probably ensure that this works by you would fetch all of them, check whether the count works, or whether the count is at least 2, and if it's not, then you would make it either don't add a delta or make the delta full of zeros, something along those lines. Why did we get the error? Because in the database there was only one entry here, okay, and this one entry, if we do it, okay, let's actually fix this. Okay, let's do something smarter. Let's do if social stats.objects that count is lower than 2, we how do we want to handle? Okay, we can do this. We can do it like this. Okay, so if we do this, we don't get any context. If we don't get any context, which means what we do lose what? We lose the current, we lose the user count, and we use the delta. We don't have anything. And we could in the home page. No, sorry. Yeah, in the home page. Let me close all the other things. Remove my terminal. Here, where are we? We are here. We could, of course, say if current, okay, else, and if we say not enough data yet. I need to open this one up again. Actually, let's make this an actual change to the repository, because if you are creating this on your local machine and you don't have any social stats, you would not get anything. But what we could also do, I mean, yeah, this is what, if I go back to the admin and I will delete the other entries here, sorry. Actually, it's enough to only delete one of them. So delete one of them. We will now. Here we have the issue that the website has been cached, right? So we actually get the cache, and the changes are not updated, right? In the views, socials, actually let's remove this for 1 second. See, not enough data yet. But not enough data yet, it's not too pretty. Let's leave this uncached while we're developing. Remove this again and open this one up, and maybe just add it here. right? So we could say, as above, if current, if we're fine by using this, and otherwise we will, what else will we do? With all of this, okay, so this would be fine, probably. Let's copy this to the others. Actually, what we also could do, we could make this into a separate component and then give this component some parameters like the background color and the object where it reads from. This would also work, of course. We need to put if current over here. And actually, we don't have to use it for the 4th time. Because the user count, we actually can give the user count there all the time. So we're going to put this over here. And if we don't have any data, we are still going to put the user count there. Can always put this there because we always have this information. Okay. So if we have less or fewer, I think fewer, everything that's countable is fewer, I think. If you have fewer than 2 social stats, then this would fail because this index would be out of bounds. We are just gonna return this and tell you there's not enough data here. Let me add more social stats. A second object here. See, now we have this information there. Okay, very good. We have a negative delta here because we of course deleted everything. We just put zeros in there. Okay, this is fine. Let's add this too. Add safety measures when there are no social stats in database yet. I just pushed this prematurely. This was probably not smart because what I didn't do yet is I did not run the pre-commit before. And of course I forgot to. I mean, do we care about caching? Honestly, we don't need it right now. Let's remove caching altogether. I showed you how caching works. And I think this is fine. Because every time the only difference is every time this is refreshed, there's 2 reads from the database. Well, there's more than 2. There's one for the count, there's one for the 2 objects, and there's for the user count. But this is something the database can easily handle. And I don't think we need to restrict this. Okay? So we're gonna remove caching again after showcase. Great. Let's make sure this is up to date. And yeah, then we're fine with this. Is there anything else? Let me just quickly change the scene to where I put my to-do list. The stream is not starting soon. Right, we did not do anything about the backups yet. We didn't talk about the possible community projects, and of course we also didn't connect to AWS. I did connect to AWS already, but I will nevertheless show you how it works. So make sure this works again. Yes, this works. And let's go back to the admin panel, delete this one, see what happens then. Yes, please. We don't have enough data here. Okay. So more development in terms of connecting to AWS or more talking about the possible community project? First one to answer wins. What's next? Or community. Okay, Seppo, thank you for answering. Community. So, wait, what? Do you want community or do you want AWS now? You can't say both and expect me to understand. I whispered, so you changed. All right. Okay. We will read over this afterwards. So, AWS, we all know this, Amazon Web Services, is something we can use to host stuff on, right? Let me change the scene so you don't. I leak too much already. I will quickly log into my AWS account. So that they have a generous free tier, but also without the free tier, what I'm doing or what I'm showing you will not break the bank. Actually, let me log into an account that doesn't have anything on. So I am not scared about effing up something. This account is inactive. I have 4 accounts. I just need to find one that is active. I think this one is good to go. All right, this email account, this email doesn't exist. This one should exist. Okay, this is such a new account that I also see these notifications everywhere. Okay, let's get you guys back in. So there is one legacy bucket which has been created on December 22nd last year, which is from Beacon, which was one of the projects that I told you about that I created that failed. I think this is of course a the working title was agency. We can have a look at this one. This is something that has already been sold to a few customers, but after upgrading them to a different product that we already had, this pretty much died off, and I consider this a failed product. I worked quite a bit on this one. I made 248 commits. It failed in the end, but we can have a look at what a sellable product looks like. This is something we can do. And I created a completely separate AWS account for this because, in fact, I had really high hopes for this project, and I'm still sad that this didn't work out. But let's consider this to be a completely empty account. I'm not sure if there's even stuff in here. There's some media files for some avatars. So if you have a look at your .production environment file, if your .django file in your .production folder, if you generate this will exist, but it will not be checked into version control. I'm talking about this file here, which I will not open. Everything that's in there should be super secret. If you remember last week when I made the full deployment, you will remember that this is what you need to put onto your server, right? So there is this file, which you will edit with all the information. And there are 3 keys here, which is a AWS client ID, a AWS secret, and an AWS bucket name, right? So for bucket name, you go into, I'm not sure what the home site is. You go here. You see has nothing happened on this account. You either have recently visited S3 already or type it in here. S3 stands for Simple Storage Service, I think. You open this one up. And this will put you in this overview, right? Of course, I am Sorry, what did I mean? I am assuming here that during the cookie cutter setup, you selected AWS as your cloud provider, right? Otherwise, of course, there is no connection to AWS from the standard files. You change your version, your region over here, right? So if you're in Europe and actually want to have this, oh, these regions are not enabled for this account. Okay. If you have a fully verified account, you will be probably able to select whatever region's important for you. And if stuff that I host, I will always put it in Europe because this is a huge data privacy problem. In fact, you see this one is in Europe and I have no idea why I can't change now. So it apparently it worked one day. But whatever. What's important now is you create a new bucket here. Okay, you name this whatever. I'm gonna name this full cycle dev and it will fail because I already created this on the other account. Nothing else is needed. Keep it like this, all fine. You create a bucket. There will be the error. Bucket already exists, as I told you. Give this any name. This is a unique name. This can only exist one. You create this bucket. Great. This will be your bucket name, and this will go into the environment file under bucket name, right? You put this in, then you will go. Then you will go to the IAM service. Okay. You will. This recently changed. I did the other user yesterday, and you go to create user. You create this user, however you want to call it. All right. Go to next. You will either create. This depends. If you're doing this for more projects, you should probably create a user group with the permissions to just read and write and edit whatever from the S3 bucket. I, for simplicity's sake now, will just attach policies directly. And a policy is something that means what this user that you're just creating, this will only be a user that will live inside your server, what this is allowed to do, right? So I'm typing S3 here to filter all the S3 stuff. And then you have a lot of options for S3. These can be super fine-grained. You can only give the permission to read from a bucket. You can only give the permission to write to a bucket and stuff. And you can also restrict which buckets here on a resource. You could also restrict to the bucket that you just created with the R. I'm not going to do it now, but I'm going to give you a pointer how this works. So if you're in S3 here, you will see a resource name for every item, right? This is ARN and 2 colons somewhere. This one. This is the resource name for the bucket. So if you would, for resource, start means this user would be allowed to access all buckets. If you want to have it access only this bucket, you put this one in there. Okay, I'm just going to use full access here for all buckets. There is no other bucket here, but you can also always change this later on. Okay, I have added this one, and then I'm fine. I click on next. Great, this user has full access to all the S3 buckets that are there. I create this user, and now this user can't do anything, right? Actually, let me delete this. I'm going to delete both of them afterwards. Okay. Let's go here. We see the permissions here. We could change the permissions, or we could also click over on security credentials. Here we want to create an access key. Few options. You do whatever you want, what makes sense for you. I am going to use an application running outside AWS. Yes, there is something new that is IAM roles anywhere. This is some new policy that you can use for temporary credentials, but we will need them permanently. And this is why I'm going to use this. Create next, give this a name if you care. Then you are creating the access keys, and you then have this client ID or the other option in the production file, and then you have the secret access key, and you are gonna copy this and the secret key, and then you're good to go and have this S3 bucket configured. Remember 3 things: the bucket name, the access key, and the secret key. This might be called access key or client ID or something in the production environment file. I'm not 100% sure right now, and I really don't want to leak any more information, but there were only 3 things for S3, and those are these three things. Great. Afterwards, you're fine. You restart the server and you have access to the S3 bucket. I'm gonna delete both of these accounts now. Okay, great. So as a matter of fact, I would have all the credentials that I need for the backup. All right, great. So no need for setting this up in the terminal. Usually it also asks for the region. No, you don't have to set it up in the terminal. The region will be determined by when you create the bucket. You create the bucket and you select the region for the bucket. So I will also delete this bucket again, because this was just for demonstration purposes. Great work. And now I will open up the cookie cutter, the README for cookie cutter, and have a look at the backup section here. Because if you forget the exec command, it's all there. You go here, you search for backup or backups, and great. Backups with Docker. You can create a backup by running this command. You can view them, and you can copy them, fine. But you could also upload them to S3, which is what we want to do. Okay, you can also download them, of course. So what we care about is, of course, the backup file command. So let me just create a backup right now from the Full Cycle Dev website, from this website, right? I'm going to create the database backup from this. I go back to the server. I have a look where I am. I am in fact in the repository root, where also the production.yaml file is here. Copy this command. Of course, this says local. I'm going to change this to the production file, and I'm going to execute this. Success. Database has been created. If we run backups with an S at the end, so plural, we will see how many backups there exist. Okay, there is this one backup that we just created. Next up will be the upload. Right? So we're going to copy this one and upload. Done. Now we have this backup inside our AWS bucket. If you did this while watching this as a video, because I'm going to upload all streams as videos to YouTube, subscribe on YouTube, and then you should be good to go. What up next? Of course, you will not want to log in every day into your server, or every half day, or whenever you want, and manually create backups, right? This is not a great idea. This is not something you would want to do, and it's not feasible. And of course, this defeats the purpose a bit. So we're going to use something from the Linux server itself, which is called a cron tab. First, what's important is we need to have absolute paths. So we're gonna say which Docker Compose. It says this is the path to the executable. Okay. I'm gonna make this a bit bigger because I see you can't see much on screen. Depending on how big your screen is, I guess. Yeah. Okay. So this is important. So I'm gonna copy this. Wait, so the Docker Compose gets the credentials from the Django environment file? Yes. Everything knows about the environment thingies. Let's have a look at the Docker Compose YAML file, because something that's new here is the AWS CLI. Or is this not here? Never mind. The way we executed this was... Right, we ran AWS CLI upload, and there is a where is it? Compose in production. You will see AWS. You will see the upload here, right, with the Docker file and stuff. So we have uploaded this, but we want to do this a lot of times. So we are going to Google cron tab because we don't know anything, or it's a cron job actually. Cron set up cron job. Not great at typing apparently. How to set up a cron job in Linux. Let's see if this is what we care about. Yes, we do care about this, although this is a bit confusing. So what we want to do, remember we have this one here, right? So we have this, and we also need a, actually let's also have a look at this one, because what we need and what we care about are absolute paths, right? Nice. Okay, great, you're on board with this. Okay, so we're gonna type cron tab -e, which then we have to select an editor. You use whatever editor you are editing all the other files. Okay, so there is information how stuff works. I'm not sure if this tells you about absolute paths. No, it doesn't, but we are gonna add a command ourselves. So for example, what this says, this example will run at 5 a.m. every week. Okay, we want to maybe run something at 5 a.m. every day, which means we would omit this, but we will have a look at this. Okay, so every hour, every day at midnight, at 2 a.m. every day. This is something that makes sense. Is crontab like Vim? Crontab is the scheduling for the cron jobs. You will edit the cron tab with a command line editor like Vim, or with Nano or something else. This is just what we are looking at here is the configuration file. Okay, so every 30 minutes, every whatever, right? This does every 15 minutes, for example. You do what you like here most. If let's remember how this one looks in our admin panel. I'm not sure if I still have the server running. No, I don't, but we can also look at the already deployed one. Right, so here we have our periodic tasks, and it has the same, see, this scheduling. We remember what this does. Every day at 2 a.m. Right? So if we would care about this, we have 0 for the minute, 2 for the hour, 3 stars for every day, and then we do what what we say here. We actually post our command, right? So we copied. Did I copy this? Yes. So we need the absolute path to Docker Compose because we cannot ensure that this will be inside the same directory, right? Because this runs in its own home directory. So we say user bin Docker Compose, fine. We specify a file which will be root fullcycledev.io / we have no completion here, production.yaml. We exec something. In fact, we did post. I think this is the command, right? So this will create the backup, which is great. And then we also just afterwards, $& is the name, I think, will means after the first command succeeded, the second one will be executed. So we need user bin Docker Compose again. Also the same file. Let's hope this doesn't break if I just copy this. Alright. So Docker compose file, and then we want to run what do we care about? We want to run the upload, right? So AWS CLI upload. I think. I mean, we can copy this, but this should work, right? So you get the gist. We write this with escape : W. We quit with this, and it says crontab installing a new crontab. If you go to crontab E again, you will see this is here. And actually, this huge command, I can copy this. Quit, run it from any directory, right? So I don't need to, now I'm in the root directory. I run this. Very good, it worked. So it created a new database backup and it uploaded it to AWS. Okay. I can actually log into the other account where this bucket is in, and I will show you that it actually worked. So stay with me, I'm gonna log out here. Where is it here? I log in. Okay. So I'm now logged in here. This is the full cycle dev bucket that I created yesterday. It has created a backups directory. Here we have two backups, right? The one first, where we did the two commands on our own, and now 1 minute ago, the one we did with the combined command. And every day at, I think 2 a.m. is what we typed in, we will have this backup. If you are not sure how this works, or want to don't want to think too much about this, or want to have just confirmation, you can also Google run cron job every 12 hours, for example. Right, you will have the /1 here, which means that at every hour that is divisible, that can be divided by 12, it will run, right? Which will be, of course, 12, and will be 0. 0 will be always a part of this. So it also tells you when it runs next. This is really great. So if we do 13 here, right? It will run at 13 again. If we do this, it will run at the 20. What's the time? Yeah, at 22 next time, or at 10 p.m. Okay. Great. So we are using an already existing. Something interesting just happened. I got a notification on my watch that Tabler liked my tweet. This is big for me because I'm really not great on Twitter. See, I told I made a tweet. On tomorrow's stream, we'll extend the full cycle developer community page by displaying scraped social stats. As per community request, we will use @Tabler. I see what I did there. I mentioned them because I hoped I would get some interaction from them. For the styling instead of regular Bootstrap. Also, we'll set up automated backup. Yeah, blah blah. And the notification I just got is Tabler liked your post. This is very great for me. I'm obviously not getting a lot of engagement here, only 26 views, and this is the only like I have. But yeah, seems like my strategy worked, and I'm at least not shadow banned on Twitter. So good. So far so good. So far so good. Yeah. Thanks for allowing me to practice my English with you guys. My spoken English, at least. All right, so we have the connection to AWS finished, and we also have the upload finished. Actually, the command, you can copy the commands here, right? You can copy them from here. But one day when I find the time to write maybe there's some time when I can't stream and I have some free time, I will put this all in writing on the Substack page. Okay, so let's go back to our GitHub repository. Check on the issues. I think this is fine. Actually, let's close this with a comment, because Twitter API, free Twitter API will only allow posting tweets. Therefore, we omitted integration of Twitter. Okay, we close with a comment. We are fine with this. We have all our issues completed. We're going to create new issues, because what we care about is also social links. Display social links in a visually pleasing way. Very creative writing on my part here, I agree. Which ones do we care about? Thank you, Nightbot, for coming in hot here. We of course care about Twitter, YouTube, Substack, Discord, and also Twitch. Let me copy this somewhere. Okay, so we need to display them somewhere. Can be either on the front page, home page, or a new one. Okay, let's submit this for now. What else do we care about? Maybe we want to have an affiliates link, or of course what's super important is add community information. Great, so write up a short paragraph about full cycle developers and why the website viewer should join us. Okay, anything else that you think should be on the website? Down the line, maybe we can get some affiliate deals where people, for example, can use Hetzner cheaper. Maybe I talk to Hetzner, since I'm a long-term customer, but I'm not bringing in that much money for them, I think. But maybe we can do something. I think they have affiliate links, but I don't just want to plug my affiliate links for my personal gain. I would also, if I have affiliate links, it would be great that anyone that uses them, for example, gets like a $10 free budget or something. Maybe we can do something like this. So these are all good issues, good first issues. Can I multi-label them? Good first issue. So anyone who ever wanted to do some kind of open source contribution, I understand this will probably not be the biggest driving point on your resume, but it is of course something to get going. Maybe even learn the flow, how this works, because you would have to, anyone watching, both on recordings or live, you go to this website. I'm gonna put this into chat. You fork this here, top right, create your personal repository, check this out on your local machine, make the changes there, push it to your clone, to your fork, and then you will see the option to contribute from your fork to the main repository, which is this one. And this will also show people you're familiar with working with multiple repositories on version control, which is a really good thing. And I promise you, I will not roast you for trying. Yeah, if it isn't the prettiest, it's super fine. Okay, just give it a go. Everyone has to learn sometime. Harasuna, thank you for following. If you want to contribute, same offer for you, same offer for everyone. Good morning. So anyone who wants to contribute anything, and of course contributing also means raising an issue here. Create an issue here, right? If there's anything you want to see on the website or think it's good for the entire community, go ahead, do so. You don't have to implement it yourself. For example, maybe Harasuna thinks there's something that needs to be on the website, opens an issue here, and Coca thinks they can do this, and they will. Great, and I can just see how you guys create something beautiful on your own without me, which will be the ultimate goal. So I think we are done with AWS, and we is there something that's for me to talk? Yeah, maybe you can use another service, and there's apparently a coupon. I have no idea if this, if you get credits on any of these services, usually they expire within a certain time frame, and you probably won't be able to use them all. But it's good to learn, it's good to get going, and maybe this is a great idea. Yeah, there's DigitalOcean, there's a lot of other providers. You could also use, there was something that I used, Vultr, I think, were they called. But they're super expensive. Yeah. I think I'm also a Linode partner. Maybe we can get the deal with them, but they are rather big, and I don't think they really bother talking to me. Let's go on to the community project. So we have been talking yesterday, and there was a lot of good feedback. The initial idea, for also a suggestion from the community, was doing like 100 days of Django SaaS coding. Okay, good idea. I asked whether someone was interested, and it got a great response. Then there was also this one, and this suggestion that instead of 100 straight days, maybe we put this into 15 weeks. That's also great. Yeah, this maybe is even better, because we could create a big project or outline a big project, break this down into 15 or so separate tasks, and every week we would publish one of these tasks, and everyone who is interested in joining creates this task only, but the tasks will be building on each other, so you shouldn't skip one of the weeks. And I think this would be great. And at the end of each week, or at the start of each week, depending on how the time works, we would do a stream where we check on everyone's solution that joins this this event, and give them great feedback. Give them feedback. You will determine whether it's great or not, and maybe learn together. I would see some super interesting implementations from your side. You might get a tip or two how to improve certain things. This is what I'm thinking. So if this is something that you are interested in, please, you would have to let us know, because I have to admit this will be quite a bit of work, both the planning and the reviewing and everything. So if you care about this, please let us know in the Discord, or you can also tweet me, of course. I'm gonna monitor all the channels. And yeah, if anyone wants to help organize this or has ideas on how to organize this, feel free. Give me a shout. I don't have to do anything myself. If you guys want to, if any one of you wants to take over and think they can do this, this would probably be best case, because as I said again, I do not want to be the frontman of the community. I want to be equal with every one of you, and ideally everyone shares their strength with others, and in an infinite time we would all be equally skilled. Yes, so there's been a lot of conversation, a lot of helping, which is super great. So do you think this is something interesting? The overall response for the community project has been great, but I also would want to have people contribute, right? So if I would do this, would participate too, but if I were the only one to do this I think is probably boring. So if you only want to look at other solutions and learn from others, that's great too. But if we don't have enough people participating, so the idea is like we would have a task and then we would have multiple people solve this one, maybe in multiple ways. So we could compare the ways we did this and learn from this one. And it's always great to see someone else implement the same stuff in a different way. Yeah, so this is something that would be, I think, great. Yeah, let me know. I will also post this, of course, because we have 8 viewers here, and there's of course not that many people. So, but if of you 8 people, 6 say they are kind of committing themselves to actually bring something forward, then this would of course would be enough for me. But I just don't want to be this one person event. Okay, so we said we do a 3-hour stream today, which means we have 12 minutes left. Is there anything you guys still want to know? Or do you have any suggestions? Either make them here or make them on the Discord server. Yes, we need a plan in place first. Thank you, Bot Bomber, to point it out. The thing is, ideally, if we have X amount of people interested, then we would have like some sort of planning committee or people that are involved in let's say we have almost 400 people in the Discord, which is true. 20 people say they would want to actually participate in doing. Another 50 people want to look at other people and discuss. And 3 people would actually step up and say they would also help planning, right? Then we could get things going. I mean, there is Advent of Code. I'm not sure if you're familiar with this. This is a puzzle series, right? So you have a lot of puzzles that you can. It's like is this a thing around the world? And a calendar for days to Christmas? Like you have a calendar with 24 little doors, an Advent calendar maybe. And every day you open a new door. Same as here, every day there is a new code puzzle. Maybe we could do something like this, but not for the Advent time, but rather for, I don't know, if we have 100 days, it will be close to a quarter of a year, or maybe, yeah, a third. We could also do a month or 2 months. 2 months are only 8 weeks and not 15. But it depends. It really depends on how many people are participating and how many commitments we have. Because of course I'm not making any money off this, and but I honestly would be fine funding something here. So if we need to have some prize money or any goodies for people to participate, Yeah, I can put up some money. That's completely fine. But usually, ideally, I would love for you guys to participate because you want to learn something. I would prefer to learn real world uses in tech. Yes, I totally agree. This would be nice. Maybe my possible client pulls through with me letting us use their requirements. So we could either, yeah, I could develop everything and I could record stuff and comment it, and then release this part every week, because things that I'm selling is that I can, I mean, I'm talking all the time, so this slows my process down. But usually I can create something super quickly. And this is also something that I'm selling my customers. And I can't give them tiny bits every week because I would probably develop everything in a week. And yeah, I mean, there's feedback loops and stuff and everything. But yeah, you're just starting out with Django, so you don't think you might be able to contribute much. But along the way, I might be able to. The thing is, you wouldn't have to contribute, right? Yes, you will be extremely surprised by how easy it is to build something great in Django. But the thing is, it depends how we're gonna use it. We can either make, for everyone that joins, everyone does make a pull request, and we add the best one to the repository as a base for next week. Or everyone would have their own repository, which we're looking at. Then you don't have to contribute to anything of the others. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff out there. But you don't, you actually, yeah, like Bot Bomber said, you don't necessarily have to build a program or create something. Be in the planning team, maybe even, I mean, if we have multiple contributions and we want to rank them for in whatever order, I'm not sure if this is something you care about. Why not? I mean, if we bring in prize money, I mean, this would also be just some sort of incentive, because if there's money, people maybe care to participate. But yeah, I don't know. Then we'll probably have to rank people, because I'm probably not gonna pay everyone a grant that helps that participates. But we could do this overall. Maybe reward the five. The thing is, I don't want to reward the best people. I want to reward people that are really determined to participate, right? So if you're an absolute pro, you might not benefit from this as much. Probably. Probably there is some way you can benefit, but if ideally you are a software developer that is either a beginner and has worked with Django, or you are an expert developer that has not worked with Django, is willing to pick it up, with a goal to be able to talk to someone. This is all this community is about, at least in the current stage. I want people that are a bit familiar with software to be able to own the entire software lifecycle. I actually thought about naming the community "Own Your Cycle," with an obvious play, but my wife was against the idea. But I thought it would have maybe raised some eyebrows and then have some people peek in. But what I want you to achieve, to be able to do, this is the reason why I want you guys to be, or was the intention usually why I thought people would come in here. You got the reference, I assume. Actually, let's put the chat on stream too, because otherwise it looks like I'm doing super weird things. Catchy name, yeah, I thought so too. On Your Cycle, I thought was a really good idea. But what's super important is I want you to be able to talk to someone that has a problem that you can solve with software, ideally with the web app. Talk to them, listen to them, get some sort of requirements with them, get them to commit to you. You develop this in a super quick time frame, and then you will have a product that you sell to them. They pay you for both the planning, the developing, the hosting, the testing, the entire feedback loops and everything. And you are a one-person business, which means you don't have any overhead. You don't have any other people that are pulling you down, neither performance-wise nor payroll-wise. You don't have any not commitment, but you don't have any person to worry about, which is super great. And you will have insane margins, right? Because the amount of money you actually can charge is significantly higher to the amount of hours you need to put into this, if you fully understand this concept. So yeah, if you are a developer or want to be one and be able to do this on your own, because the ultimate goal is to have the highest degree of freedom while still making significantly above average money. So for me, this is for example, I'm what I'm telling you is what I'm practicing, right? So I'm not talking about things that I'm not doing. I'm actually doing the same, and you probably see there is some evidence here, right? I actually let me put the microphone in the center. Maybe this works a bit better. So I look somewhat in the direction of the camera. How do you find people willing to pay? I'm gonna answer this a second. I'll give you a slight breakdown of how. I'm gonna answer the question quickly. Actually, I'm gonna answer them now because I forgot what I wanted to talk about. Can you give a slight breakdown of what you would charge for something basic? Yeah, I can. Actually, the thing is, we wanted to create a sample contract on stream, but sadly, I forgot that we want to do this today. You didn't remember me or remind me, so we're both at fault here, I guess. How will you find people to pay? I talked about this earlier. You were talking about crazy margins. Crazy margins, right? True. So, can you give a slight breakdown of what you would charge for something basic? It really depends on the customer. So the thing is, if you are selling a service like, say, Spotify, there is a limit to what you can charge, right? So people are gonna pay, I think, $10 a month for unlimited music streaming. Okay? Makes sense, yeah. You are competing with a lot of people and you can't charge more. If you were the only service to offer this, of course you would you probably would charge more. Or people would go back to piracy. But Gabe Newell, the Valve guy from Steam, always said piracy is a service problem, not a price problem. So if you're offering something that is offering a great service, people are willing to pay for it. And the way and how you would charge for something is you have to sell the customer on the price, of course. If you're starting out and you just want to get a customer, maybe you're giving them some better offer. Coca-Cola buy you, but if in my position where I am, the way I determine pricing is, and I have to argue this to the customer, right? So I'm not gonna say if they ask me how much does it cost, and I tell them the software suite, this software that I'm selling them or the license to it will be, let's say, $2,000 per month. They will probably look at me a bit in disbelief. If I argue this in another way, I will say this software will replace 2 full-time employees, which cost them, for simplicity's sake, say 4,000. Actually, it would cost more, but say the system is replacing employees or employees' work that would cost them $4,000 a month. Okay. Benefits of the system is the system doesn't take sick leave, the system doesn't go on vacations, the system does always the same. So if there are bugs, this is deterministic. the system doesn't make mistakes. Software doesn't make mistakes, right? Bugs aren't mistakes from software, they are your mistakes. And these are all big benefits which make the system better than regular employees, right? And because from an ethical standpoint, you of course don't want to have people lose your jobs. And I am super proud to say that none of my customers fired the employees that have been replaced by my systems. It's depending on where your job market is, right? I'm not sure how it's in the US, for example, but in Europe, or at least Central Europe, it is rather tough to find people, qualified people that want to work, that actually want to work, for a variety of reasons. So if you were to substitute 2 of their workers, this would mean pretty much as if they hired 2 new people that know everything about the company already, right? So if you have this line of argumentation, you can price differently. Say, highlight all your benefits. Say this essentially does save them 5 or 4 grand, whatever number I said, per month, and gives them 2 new free employees, or free employees with free capabilities to do something else, not money-wise free. This is a huge selling point. And if they realize this, then they see, all right, so giving that company 2 grand a month for the software license is actually kind of a steal. And then this and I usually price this like this. So this with the 2 grand is a real number that is actually this is the median of what my customers pay. And of course, for these 2 grand a month, you don't really have to do much aside from maintaining the server. But I usually have a license fee and a hosting and management contract. This means server costs plus I think 1 or 2 hours a month of work. And what I also charge is, it depends on whether it's a software that already exists, yeah, or something I have to write completely from the bottom up. So if it's something that already exists, that I have already created and I'm white labeling for them, then I usually charge 2,000 to 8,000 euros of setup fee, which is the creation of, or the, now I'm a bit at a loss of words. This is the service required to make the white label solution work for them as they intend to, right? So with their branding, everyone that has some kind of billing involved will have some kind of different requirements, be it either the exports for their accountant department, how they handle the money, whether they are working as an escrow company for travel agencies, or whether the property owners themselves collect the money and then just pay out a fee to them, whether you interface with the banking accounts. There is the option of just suggesting payments to the banking software, and there is this 4I principle where they have to for example, still check it. Or you can also instantly send invoices to your clients, or if you have a SEPA mandate, I'm not sure if this is a thing. I mean, obviously the name has European in it, but it's pretty much like you would automatically charge a credit card in the States, for example. Yes, you can also charge a bank account or a credit card, of course. So have automatic collection of money and stuff. These are all things that are super boring manual tasks, but are things that regularly come up, right? So ideally, you find someone, you talk about them. If someone says, yeah, they are looking for more people, they're intending on hiring people that are because there's this super boring task, then think about, is this super important task really that dependable on humans? Or for example, can you make huge suggestions in terms of software? Maybe do some preliminary work, and then there's only one of the selling points, real world example again. One one client had 2 of his employees work the first 2 weeks of the month on something, right? So that's 10 workdays per employee, combined 20 workdays. After my product, there was one employee that would work half a day with my product and pretty much just nod everything through or make some changes that were not able to be automatically determined by the software. Great. So instead of 20 work hours, my software has reduced the load to half a work day. Sorry if I said hours. 40 instead of 20 work days, it's now half a work day. So there's a factor of 40. This is huge. Of course, you can sell this significantly bigger. Very informative talk. Thank you very much. I've never thought about it like this. So that initial software fees includes everything, including your time, and obviously they pay monthly. It really depends on the type of client, and also it depends on whether if you have a bigger company with a lot of different departments, there may be a finance department and there's another department, and you're talking to one person who's not actually spending the money, but a different department is spending the money. You usually have a bigger margin there, right? But it's important that you also deliver, right? If you have a big company, they are fine with paying more, but they actually want to have peace of mind then. So if that's your first project, probably aim for some smaller client, right? Because if you have a bigger client and you're promising them the sky and may not be so super experienced yet, smaller companies are usually fine. Huge companies, I mean, they will give you from experience, they will give you the option to fix it. But if this is a continuous problem, then you might have bitten off a bit more than you can chew. And it really depends on the contract, whether this is a problem for you or whether it's just a learning experience. There was one thing too. Yeah, how do you find people willing to pay? Earlier, I was talking about some real life examples where I find people. I'm now at this super nice state where I'm being constantly recommended to other people. Great. But in order to get there, I was on a lot of conventions. I was planning on talking to a lot of people, listen to what these people have to say, really take in their problems, ask for their problems, and only then suggest whether it would be possible to solve with software because you did this or this in the past. Yeah, you see, we did a tiny project together. Like we added billing, for example, on the last stream, so everything is public on GitHub. And then you get talking, and then there is this Twitter story that I posted. Maybe this is interesting for you. Twitter. I actually pinned this because I think this is the highest quality of all my posts. I did land a 100K contract by giving something away for free. Right? This is a thread. This is a bunch of stuff to read. And the way this worked was basically they wouldn't trust me with doing this because I was alone. They have they have someone lined up already, and I was talking rather big words, and they thought I could not deliver. I told them I will do this. What the other company had they had a longer time frame for something that they charged them, I think 20K. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 20Ks, and they would. And I told them I will do this urgent part instantly within 24 hours, and I will do it for free. If they're happy, they can use this for free forever, and I will get the rest of the contract too. They kind of smiled at me because I was still 25, I think, which is rather young and where I'm from. And yeah, they agreed, thinking I was pretty much insane, and I delivered and I got that contract. So also is another funny story. I was in a meeting with banking executives, and they asked where my CEO was, because everyone was apparently here, aside from my CEO, until their assistant informed them that in fact I am the CEO, and they were kind of baffled. And it was a very fun experience. How long did it take you to complete the contract? I think 3 weeks. That's including feedback loops. Yeah, actually, now this is significantly more than 100K, because they are still ongoing customers for me, and they always need new features, because this is a huge company though. They always need new features, and they will always come to me to, of course, develop them. In the future, looking to target small businesses, there's a fair few where, yes, it is, but the question is, where do you get them, right? There's also meetups that you can join. LinkedIn works really great. So maybe start there. It's also nice for people. I mean, it really depends. I can mostly talk about the Austrian market, because I'm not that big shot international guy in terms of selling my business to. But people here are also really, really down to just talk about each other's business. They don't care that much about. They're fine to talk to listen to your product, even though they are not a fit for it. But the more you talk to people, this is what I meant before. Yeah, Sapot, see you. Bye. Sorry that you have to go, but I understand that everyone can join for the entire stream. Brain goes boom. What was I talking? Yeah, give life enough possibilities to reward you. Yeah, the more opportunities you give life to reward you, the more likely it is you succeed. If you try once and fail, and yeah, of course, you throw in the towel, you don't try a second time, of course you will never win. But if you will always stand up, try again, one day there will be your reward. There's this little diamond digger before success. Do you know this? Talking of diamonds here. Diamond digger success. This image that I'm talking to. Oh my god, is Diamond Digger actually a game? Okay, well, crap. Gold Digger is also not what I'm talking. Yeah, this one is it. Right, so this guy just stopped, and it was too close. It was very close, but then decided it wasn't worth it anymore. Of course, you shouldn't just mind if something clearly doesn't work. You shouldn't mindless. You reapply this the second time. Always learn from mistakes, right? If you fail, that's okay. You will try a second time, but in your failure, there was maybe something that was pretty obvious. Okay, so if, for example, those are rather formal people, and there's some etiquette that you missed, yeah, this could be a problem, right? So maybe they want no handshake. This is nothing that happened to me, but it's just an example. Maybe they prefer a bow instead of a handshake, or they want to have their business card accepted with 2 hands. You touch them with 2 hands, so, which would be the Chinese way, I think. Maybe something like this. You learn from this, and next time you improve. Maybe see if you'd rather go with something like freelancing small projects with Fiverr. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, maybe this works too. I have no idea how this Fiverr market works. I only used Fiverr once for getting a logo package for one of my companies. Okay, there's always something different with whether you are creating a SaaS product for the entire population, or it's something that's still kind of tailored to one company, and only the company people are there. But yeah, I briefly mentioned, do not load Google Fonts directly from the Google web servers if you are in Europe, for example. This is one of the classic shortcomings. Yeah, cookie policies and stuff, same. I honestly just don't use any cookies for the logged out user, which is of course not that smart if you're going for search engine optimization and stuff, but I don't do this. Okay, we are 15 minutes over budget, which is fine by me. So if there are any questions, I will give one minute to post something. Then I guess I'll call it. Also, we did not have a look at our goals. So on Twitch, we are rather close to the goal. Actually, we have everything done but the amount of streams. So if we look at the creator dashboard, right, I did not stream 7 days per month, and I confirmed it says here, let's say in 30-day period. So this is a rolling 30-day period, so I don't have to finish this by end of month. But the benefit is we would become an affiliate, which allows us to VIP people. All right. So yeah, you can't sadly help with achieving this goal. This is all on me. I actually have to put in some more streams. Okay, and there's other achievements which I stream for 2K hours total. Whoosh. Yeah, this will take some time. No questions. Thank you for the stream. Very informative again. Thank you for watching. This is what keeps me going. Luan, thank you for the follow 10 minutes ago, 14 minutes ago. Sorry I didn't mention earlier. Nice haircut, by the way. Are you saying this unironically because I actually had pretty long hair last time? My wife's not on board with this haircut. Not sure if you're trolling me or not. So, but if you're not because you're a nice person, thank you so much. Although it's not the most creative one. I actually wanted to have a long hair. Fun fact, actually what I want is, or what I tried to achieve, is something from Geralt from the games, which is something close like this. But as you can judge, I don't really have much beard. I'm actually gonna, if that's fine by you, I'm gonna make a screenshot where you said it's a nice haircut, and I'm gonna send this to my wife later. Yeah, I was trying to do something like this, but the problem is, I have a lot of hair, like the sheer number of hair, it's huge, and they are super thick. So the problem was, it's almost impossible for me to keep them down. So every time when I try to like comb them back, they would always stand up, and I would like be about 5 centimeters taller. And it's fine if when I came freshly out of the shower, but once they started drying, they kind of got their own mind again, and then they started going up. So I could either like glue them down with some wax, or the other thing that I heard is I just need to wait until they are longer, which means they would become heavier and then push them down on their own. But yeah, I pulled the trigger, I think, on Wednesday. But honestly, now I'm kind of regretting it because it's super cold. There's not much hair here. Yeah, let's see. Maybe I'm gonna wait half a year again until they're longer again. But yeah, thanks for the compliment. Really means it means a lot to me. Okay. So any questions, anything else that you care about, you want to see on next stream? Probably next Tuesday. Whether from home or from the office, I'm not sure again. Let me know if any one of you is in Vienna or the greater area of Vienna and wants to meet up for coffee. Gladly. Someone was here last week, and I asked them whether they wanted to meet, but they did no longer respond to me. Nevo is here. What up? It's actually a person I know from way back, I think 12 years or so. Great to see you doing well, I hope. All right. So actually, someone else here in the viewer list I know from a huge time ago. Can I look at this somewhere? Probably over here, right? Nope. This is the dashboard. How can I look at the viewer list? I'm not really a pro, as you can tell. Here. No. Yes. Everyone from the Full Cycle Dev community. All right. Which is not a bad thing, by the way. Great. So, actual first person. I'm actually a really social person. I'm super fine with meeting people, because I assume that if anyone here is watching this, we have some sort of base we can talk about. So I think it wouldn't be awkward. Well, Nivo, that's great. Actually, I think Luca did too. Actually, maybe I have to chat with the old gang. There is like a gazillion of Discord servers I'm on where they are also on. Yeah, maybe reconnect a bit. I know we did spend a lot of time together, like 10 years ago. But I'm no longer in the crypto business. I'm no longer developing any crypto coin, and I do not affiliate myself with it anymore. So yeah. All right, guys, I'm gonna call it today. If there's anything you care about, let me know on any of the socials. Yeah, great, that's it. And we will be hitting that goal. Okay, great. See you guys. Bye-bye. Actually, there's this ending soon stream thingy. I have no idea why I should use this. Is there anything? Maybe if I'm an affiliate and I want to make some money with ads, I would probably put this here and then yeah, run a few more ads, possibly. I have no idea. Also, guys, if anyone's still here, I need your opinion, right? I'm gonna put my Streamlabs on screen here. Let me put this down, and you tell me whether you think this is, makes sense or is this crap. So here I saw you can I'm probably using from what I've seen, Streamlabs. Using Streamlabs is not the way to go anymore, because they are apparently bye-bye. I see what you did there. Streamlabs apparently no longer the... Also, new unknown viewer that joined here, wink wink. I have been getting compliments for my hairstyle. Yeah, and they were not full of sarcasm. There might be some psychology behind abruptly ending the stream as a soft ending with such a screen. Yeah, I agree. Might be. So what I saw there is, if you're using Streamlabs, you can upgrade to Ultra. Yeah. Which would give you a lot of bunch of things, like the layout that I have here with both the camera setup, the starting soon, intermission, ending, be right back and stuff. This is all a free template. And there's stuff that you can upgrade, right? There's something that looks better. There's a lot of things here. For example, this one. I mean, looks a bit too much. But you can upgrade to something like this. And do you guys think this would change anything of the stream quality if it would look a bit flashier? Maybe this pastel or with neon lights. This I personally think looks rather great. Do you guys think this is something that would improve the stream quality, or do you think this is unimportant? Because I was also looking at Fiverr, if someone would do something custom for us, so we can actually have like some kind of identity using here. This also looks kind of flashy, but honestly, we want to have mostly educational content here, and I think having super flashy things is great. Yeah, if it fits, sure, but personally, I'd keep it simple. I kind of agree though, but it does look cool, but it doesn't fit us. Some kind of brand or identity would be good. Yeah, I was looking at some offers on Fiverr, because someone mentioned Fiverr earlier. If this would make sense, maybe we contact someone to create us both the logo, banners for wherever, like a color scheme. Yeah, I personally really like the color purple, but I'm not sure if this is that great brand color, right? Oh, can I filter by purple? I see. Yeah, we could do some cozy streams like this. Yeah, if I go full nerd, I think the quality will actually decrease because everyone will be kind of annoyed by all the flying numbers. Thing is, it needs to be classy, right? But from what I've seen from others, as I said, I'm more conscious when watching other streams now, since I tried it myself. Is maybe it makes sense to have your social somewhere displayed, right? Maybe I don't need to have this full screen like I do now. I don't even know how I get back here. Yeah. So this is full screen. I could have maybe oh boy. Take this one, put it over here, and have my face somewhere else. Maybe have the notifications here or the alerts somewhere. Yeah, maybe this is smart. I don't know. So can I Control Z this? Yeah, I think we had it like this. Yeah, maybe add some more information, or maybe have a agenda somewhere telling you what we're doing, maybe currently and in the future, or what plans are. Maybe something like this. If anyone is a streaming pro or has had more experience than I have, which means probably having streamed more than 2 or 3 times, go ahead. Please, I'm really thankful for all the input. Yeah. So go ahead. Even roast me if I'm doing something bad. I'm always wanting to hear it. I always want to hear it. Yeah, go ahead. And yeah, I'm really happy to learn from my mistakes. Great. So other than that, I think I unloaded everything I had on my mind. I'm gonna custom logo for your socials pop up every 10 minutes or so for a couple of seconds maybe. I see. Yeah. Or maybe just one little box with the logo or with the panels. I have also seen you can have this can create panels for you. Okay, no, like the stuff you see from other people down here, like this one. This could also make sense to have like have a social panel, and this would rotate. Stream goals, picture to the side, latest follow, make sure people feel special, social pop-up every so often. Really great things. I will do my best setting that up. I have actually no idea how to do this. Do you guys suggest anything? Like Stream Elements, I think, has this. Yeah, Deadman, who helped me get going, has... they actually told me that they moved away from Streamlabs and are using just OBS and Stream Elements. I'm actually using the alerts from Twitch. I actually don't know if I do. Do you guys hear any sounds from myself? You can do research for me and hit me back on Discord. Huge appreciation. Yeah, thank you. The more the merrier. I'm really thankful for anything. And also thanks to 9 loyal people that stayed during the stream. And I think we're going 5 more followers. If there was any sound on the website, nope. I don't. There is no sound. I'm gonna hit up. Also, am I even allowed to play videos? Let's see what I'm subscribed to and leak this. I'm subscribed to some League of Legends stuff. What is this? Shorts. Oh, YouTube Shorts. I've never looked at them. They usually have sound, right? Let's see.
The next smash we would focus on, which we just mentioned there, would be the top spin where it bounces 3 meters. Or
do you hear this from the feedback from the microphone, or do you actually hear something?
Beginner and intermediate level, because players are not used to running outside, or maybe they...
Okay, I'm gonna quit this. Yeah, can you hear that? You hear that from the microphone, like in bad quality, or you hear that from actual, from the actual website? Okay, great. So probably, I can replay an alert here, right? Shouldn't I be able to replay an alert? Because the thing is, I should hear some sound if someone retweet, if someone follows, right? So there's alert, and I think I can replay this or not. There was some option to replay. This is the same, and great. And I had like this browser source URL which I entered into Streamlabs here, right? So there's Twitch alerts, which has this source, and there's also like there's a sound from webcam. I have no idea what this means, but there's also Twitch alerts. Yeah, so I thought this would work. But if I can't replay any of these, you probably won't listen to music, right? Since you'll be able to route it differently, so it's not Twitch. I mean, technically what I could also do, since I could listen to music without you listening. I could just put on headphones. I have a couple of headphones here. Could just put them on and like connect via mobile phone. Some webcams have audio. Yes, this is probably true. Is anyone here that is not subscribed and would be so generous? Subscribed. I'm not that far into the... There's 12 viewers here, so I'm sure someone here is not followed. Could anyone be so gracious and follow? And of course, you can unfollow afterwards if you care. So we can test whether we hear something from the follow notifications. Because replaying the alert does not work. So here says replay, right? Did you hear us? Did you guys hear this? So I guess I just had my phone my thingy muted, right? Thank you so much for the follows, guys. Not sure, might have been a sound through the mic. Okay, let me just, I mean, I see something here, right? Whenever I'm saying something, right? So when I'm replaying this, I should probably see it from here. Or is there anything that I need to change? There is this little cog, and there's Twitch alerts. I see. What? A monitor and output. So monitoring. Let's just see if this does anything. And I should probably see a bar here. So I'm gonna replay someone. David, I'm gonna replay you. I think it works. I'll mute my microphone now, and I'm gonna replay again. Okay, did you hear this from the admin? Or did you not hear the last one? That's right. Yes, perfect. Okay, so probably the issue was that I had muted the entire stream. So yeah, great. Okay. For whatever reasons, we now have 12 viewers, which is probably the peak from this entire stream. So it's kind of sad that we have to, or that I will actually end the stream now. But I don't have that much more content that I could do for a quick time. Next week we will definitely do the contract. So we will create a sample contract where I'm gonna tell you how I usually create the content, what I think should it be in every SaaS contract that you have with the customer. Of course, there will be stuff that's different depending on your region, but I will do them from I will maybe talk about the requirements from Austria on a side note, but I will put all of them in there that I think make sense all the time. Okay. All right, guys. Now, without further ado, I will really wrap it up. That's what they say in the show business, right? All right. See you guys. Probably meet you next Tuesday. Okay. Bye-bye. I'm gonna do the ending soon screen for 5 more minutes, and then I'm gone. Love you guys. Bye bye.